Good evening, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, or should I say, good early morning, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters here on YouTube, and those who follow me, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on Facebook. I hope everybody is doing great. Um, I had done a live earlier, ate me a late dinner. I was doing a live, if y'all want to check, on Paranormal Roundtable with Brother Josh Turner, and ate me a late supper in which I took me a little nap. I woke up and I said to myself, um, I got to do my spiritual life for my brothers and sisters that tune in here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. So if there's any night owls that are up, well, I'm here, wide awake. Um, Whoever wants to tune in, tonight's topic is about how the enemy infiltrates within mankind, or should I say, within society, within mankind. I would like to talk about the different techniques that how the enemy infiltrates. Some of this tactics of infiltration is used by like work tactics. Uh, there's different ways the enemy can infiltrate within mankind, and some of it is within our society. There's the enemy that's within the borders that's already infiltrating in place. Some are in higher power, or should I say, a higher echelon in which they're doing the evil works, and they're affiliated with the unseen enemy. And we see a lot of that, right? Some of the things that we see within our society, for example. How you doing, Sister Madeline? How you doing this early morning? I'm doing great. Uh, I had me a late supper. Took me a little nap, and I just jumped on right now to do this live. And I wanted to talk about how the enemy infiltrates. We noticed this, Sister Madeline, right? How the enemy infiltrates because the enemy was infiltrating in PRT scandal. Uh, and PRTs unstable, right? The people that we thought were cool and that they were trustworthy. Well, as you see, what you're going through and what I've been through is like they were the enemy. There was the enemy that was set in place to relay the messages to the other people they're affiliated with. So in that nature, that's how the enemy can go in behind, go goes in, which is going in behind to them who were the enemy, right? So it's like going into enemy lines, but they're infiltrating. Say, those tactics have been used throughout history. You hear it from the wars where there's Russian spies infiltrating to be Americans and things like that in the nature. Um, where people are pretending to be your friend, and pretending to be your allies, but at all that time that they're doing that, they're infiltrating. They're doing the works for somebody else, to relay messages of what you're doing or things of that nature. In which that's pretty sneaky, right? Because they're falsifying themselves of who they are, in which to me when somebody does that and they finally show the true nature, uh, to me they're not trustworthy at all no more. You know, no matter how many scriptures they throw at me of what the Bible says or whatever, to me it's like they'll do it once, do it again, and they'll continue to do it because that's what they're about. I see them all the time here as I'm doing the late night ships, I figure I have respect for all my brothers and sisters and for the podcasters. So I say to myself, I'll just do this works at this time, late at night when I'm not bothering nobody. So it's not like I'm bumping heads against anybody because I'm not trying to. I just like I'm a night owl person and I'm wide awake at night, so I can talk about this. And for whoever's up, uh, first of all, I want to say thank you to all the people that subscribed this past 3 days, 4 days. Y'all made it happen for me to make it up to the 1,000 subscriber marker. I really appreciate y'all. Uh, but I feel that I have to talk about how the enemy infiltrates. There's the enemy that's the flesh, and then you got the unseen enemy, right? This is spiritual enemy, and I wanna compare tonight how they work. Thank you, Prenex. Thank y'all. Um, so I'm comparing how the enemy infiltrates, right? How there's enemy in place right now that's even within our government that's affiliated with the dark side, which will be the other side of the balance, in which they're in power, they're in high positions. If they're in high positions, they control certain things and certain events that happen. When we hear about the kids missing around the borders, kids missing in the United States, as far as I know, to my understanding, a lot of these kids that are winding up disappearing and missing, they're being taken to locations like the White House, locations where where these people that worship something else, that they believe in something else, that they use the children some as blood sacrifices, or they use the children for other perverted things. Those are some of the people that is within a government. And what's sick about it is they set these rules. There's rules and laws to protect them, and they continue to do this freaking things. That's why, to me, I pray for everyone when God intervenes that will meet their fate, and it's beyond my control or your control. That's when the God intervenes. But it's been happening for years, brothers and sisters. I remember kids when I was growing up near the borders, because my hometown is near the borders, and I remember where kids were being the same thing that's happening now was happening then in the 70s, where there were smugglers, there was kids being crossed across the border. Uh, some were found dead in the woods or in the sugarcane fields. But there was smuggling and then issue, not just smuggling of human beings, but smuggling of drugs. All the things that involve with crookedness, all those things will happen at once. In which along the border, there's a lot of crooked little towns. When I seen some of the presidents show up along the border, and when they had they had camps of prisoners of the people that were crossing the border. Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think they're allowing the people to cross over, or that they say that they're helping out the people? Do you think honestly how crooked our government is, that they're really honestly trying to help those people? No, people are disappearing, man. They just people don't know that they're disappearing, and they're not talking about it, right? So they're keeping it all in secrecy. All of the people from the people in charge from the U.S. have to do is send them right back where they came from. And the people that wind up disappearing or missing, nobody's going to know about it. The media is not going to talk about it because they're affiliated with that. So the only thing they're going to do is it's kind of like this. It's like they're saying, send us more people, send us more people, send us more children, send us more children. That's why they have the borders open that way. I believe President Trump knew what was going on. That's why he had built the wall. The people are like, well, he's just building it to uh, to stop people from crossing over. No, to protect the children that were being, how should I say, kidnapped and smuggling over, and for children from the United States from getting kidnapped from here and getting smuggled over there. Uh, that's been happening for a very long time. Some of these people, they call them coyotes, right, in Spanish. We talk, it's just, I'm just going to bring the open like this. People talk about the dog man, werewolves, or lycanthrope, right? Well, the name of the smugglers that cross the people across the border into the United States, they get paid money to do this. These people save their hard working money, well, little buddy money, and they pay the coyotes to cross them over. Well, when you talk about coyotes, well, we got all these stories about the dog man and all this. Well, you got people being named coyotes. The coyotes, the people from Mexico into the United States, and then you got the people that are coyotes connected, affiliated to the coyotes here in the United States, that pick up the people and they're moving from, I should say, from city to city within the United States, right? They go from the borders on up to wherever the destination is. Whether if the destination is Houston, Texas, whether the destination is Dallas, Texas, that's how that works. But there's some people that they get deceived and they get taken out, they get killed by these smugglers. That people always ask me, how come you hate people from Mexico? One time when I was in the military, why do you hate your own people? It's not that I hate my own people. It's that I hate the acts of what I witnessed, of what they've done. There's been a lot of people, innocent people, that has been murdered throughout the years, as far as I can remember, uh, where people were promised something, right, and then never made it to the destination because there was crooked coyotes that just wanted their money. So instead of making them, how should I say, send them all the way through the other source of coyote, instead of paying those people to get them to the destination, they just rather take the money and just leave them stranded in the middle of nowhere. Well, we all know that you can, if you place in an area where you don't know where you're at, you don't know your north, your west, your south, or east, none of the coordinates, your body can only survive so long out there. So that's why there's a lot of people that are found dead in the wilderness, that are trying to make it they're in the U.S., but they get abandoned by the coyotes in the U.S., in which they wind up being dead because they don't have food, they don't have water. I've heard the stories, man. I'm gonna talk to you about some of the stories of some of the people, some of the people I've encountered uh, back in the day, like in when I joined the military was in '89. So I had gone to basic training, right, and I went on convalescent leave uh, to the valley for Christmas, which was like 2 weeks of leave. I went there and I had to take the Greyhound bus. So on the way back, there was this skinny boy. He had to be like 14 years old. He was crying in the bus, right? In the Greyhound bus. I'm gonna share this story with y'all. He was crying in the bus, and I asked him. He was real skinny, and I asked him, "What's the matter?" And he said that he was very hungry. You know. So we stopped in Corpus Christi, and I bought him some food. I had money. I bought him some food and gave him something to eat, and he started crying. He was crying, and you can tell when somebody has gone through something, right? I'm just here listening at the. I'm reading the comments. So I gave him some food. He was eating the food, and I noticed something on him. He had cuts all over his hand, like his fingers, his palms. He had cuts like somebody had cut him on his hands, like torture, right? So there's a story that I got from him, that he was from Honduras, and the how should I say, the militia from Honduras made them join the militia because they have war over there. They 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 made them join the military at a young age. They forced them to join, and what they would do is kill people. They will kill family members if you didn't listen to what they were saying. They will rape women, rape children. The militia from Honduras, right? So he had no choice to join. So it's kind of like there was always war, like every day fighting, and sometimes the militia was divided, in which sometimes the people you were fighting was your own family members, like your cousins and stuff like that. Uh, he told me that one time as they were fighting, because the only thing that they were given to eat was every day was one little portion of rice and one little portion of beans, because it's a poor country, right? So one time they were fighting within the war, and within the war, both sides accidentally killed a wild boar, right? So they called a ceasefire and a truce within that battle, and that day they gutted up the pig, they cooked the pig, and both parties that were fighting were they united together just for that one day to eat the pig, right? So after the pig was eaten and the truth was up, they went back to fighting. He said he had cuts in his hand, brothers and sisters. Uh, I'm gonna flip it around. I'm gonna just take it off for tonight. The reason he had cuts in his hands is because he tried to escape one time. They chained him up, tied him up, and they whipped him with a whip in the back, and they would make him hold pieces of glass in his hand as punishment, and they would make it squeeze where he was bleeding on his hand, and they would tell him that if he tried to escape another time, that they was going to kill him, like a form of being a deserter. So he said that he got tired of the war and the people that were running his life. That him and a friend decided to run away, from the militia that was keeping them captive, but they were fighting as soldiers for that militia. They managed to escape, and he said on the way of them trying to make it to the border, to cross the border, that his friend got killed, but he was the only one that got to make it. He said he had family members up in the Dallas area, and when he was telling me this, he was crying. I could tell that the story that he was telling me was 100% legit. I mean, he was showing me the scars that he had on his body. He was crying, and then he asked me a question. I said, "Do you think that there's opportunity? There's when I go with my cousins that I'm going to be able to make it?" And I said, "Yes, there's a lot of opportunities here in the United States." I said, "But I would think that you have to do it the right way." I guess he had gotten some kind of diplomacy at the time. He had some kind of paperwork, because I remember, well, I didn't know if he had or any or not, but I was there with him, sitting down in my dress greens when we stopped at the checkpoint, and I told him, "Look, they're going to ask two questions. Listen to me when they ask me. You're going to respond to me." I told him in Spanish, if they told me if I'm a national, if you're a nacional, tell them yes. If they ask you where you're from, you say Texas, you know. And they asked him the questions, and he responded immediately. I didn't know he was legal or not legal, but I knew that his story was heartfelt to me, because I witnessed his conditions. So out of how should I say, me caring as a person, at the time I was 19, he made it to his destination. I gave him some money, and I told him good luck. I said, "Look, you can make something out of yourself. Stay out of trouble. Don't cause no problems with anybody, because if you do, then I send you back." I said, "So if you do, you're coming here because you want change. The change can be here, but you're gonna want to change. You got to work hard to make something out of yourself. And we just went our separate ways. And that's what story I got to share with y'all right now of the young boy that I met in a Greyhound bus that was coming from Honduras where there was war. He was imagine 14 and he's out there. They got him killing people or they're killing some of them, and he's got to live with that. He had PTSD at the age of 14 because of the violence of where he was growing up. So there are some people, right, in which I believe that you know we should send some kind of aid or some kind of help when there's things like that happens. When you send some kind of aid or money to those locations, the people in power are the ones that keep the money, and the things continue to happen. It's no different like what's that? Where all this money that our government is giving to this other places, right? Uh, Instead of giving it to them, how come not use that money to help out veterans, right? That are struggling, or help out clean up the streets within the United States of the homeless. Build some buildings, and pay some people to be, you could say, like in charge of these buildings, like babysitters or whatever, to make sure if somebody is not following the rules, they get sent out of the building or something, right? You see them helping out other countries, but they can't help out the people that are suffering within our country. You know, uh, but I've seen that. He was a young gentleman that was in the Greyhound. But I'll never forget him. When you run into somebody like that and they share the story and they're crying, and I mean he was crying and he would tremble in fear because of the people that were having him captive as a prisoner slash working for them, killing people. Nobody deserves to be controlled in that nature. Nobody. Not even the people that are coming across the border through the coyotes that are dirty government people that are dirty within the government are using them for their pleasure. They need to be brought to justice. That's what I believe. Doesn't matter if they're not United States citizens; they're still human beings. So if our own government or people within our society are being freaking pedophiles, or they're using them for sacrifice reasons because they're affiliated with a cult, I believe we need to bring them to a justice, and not just give them a slap in the hand, but throw the book at them, and put them where they belong. How you doing, Roberta? We got free next, Sister Nellie Turner. And that's some of the stories that I witnessed. I know Dad had a good heart, because he was originally he was born in Mexico, but he was only there a year. So imagine if you're driving in the Rio Grande Valley and you're out there in the country where the culture is, the sugar cane, the grapefruits and stuff like that, and you see just people walking on the side of the road, barefooted, chapped lips because they have no water, they have no food. So what my dad would do is fill up the back of the station wagon with nothing but jugs of water. We fill up on Saturdays, right? Jugs of water. We'll make a lot of tacos, and we'll go down those main highways where these people are walking. He's giving them water, he's giving them food, and that's what he would do. Till one day, a DPS pulled him over, and they told him if they ever caught him doing that again, that they were gonna take him to jail. So he stopped doing that, But he was doing it because they were human beings and he cared, right? And he was doing it because that's what we're supposed to do as human beings. But there's some people nowadays, that they're called coyotes. What does a coyote mean, people? Coyote, right? A form of a wolf, a lobo. The coyotes, there's coyotes that do it for the money. The ones from Mexico, they get paid, and the ones that cross them into from the United States, they get paid even more to get them to their destination. So imagine these people, if the coyote is getting paid from the other side, and then this side is paying them, but then they deceive them, and they don't never make it to the destination, and they just disappear in the face of the earth. And there's been many that has happened to innocent people that really want a change in life because they get tired of the poverty, they get tired of the crooked people, they get tired of the cartels that are running the borders, they get tired of the wars of the, how should I say, the cults that are along the border, that they want to get out of that environment, or the family members have been there for a long time, send their next of kin to try to cross the border to get a better life. But they don't understand that there's evil people on this side of the border that's controlling the narrative in Mexico. You know, you see it nowadays where there's people walking with cell phones, right? Trying to cross the border with cell phones. Where are they getting the money for the cell phones? Think about it. They say, oh, it's free money. Oh, it's free this. I say, yeah, they're deceiving you. It's free for right now, but there's always a price to pay. Nothing is given to you for free in this world. And there's a lot of people that have crossed. They're not here no more, and they never make it back to their destination because they get deceived. Oh yeah, they're getting paid a lot of money. At one point in time, there was people getting paid $2,000 for a head, 3,000, 4,000, depends how far the destination is, and they were getting paid this money, in which some of which they call coyotes. They had, some of them had connections along the borders or the checkpoints in order to cross. But then, like if anybody's ever taken them to Texas, there's always the border patrol that's patrolling the bus stations, the airports, and they're always traveling on the highways. So if they see something unusual or somebody on the side of the road picking up somebody, then they pull them over, they ID them, and if they find out that they're being coyotes, the fine in that is a big fine, and now they're not playing around. They're throwing people in jail for that. Some guys are young. That's an easy way to make money. Think about it. Sister Madeline. Well, somebody said here 10,000 a head, right? 10,000. As far as I know, it's like 2,400, 5,400. Imagine if they have 10 people that they're crossing over. That's a lot of money, right? But there is some people that cross over that manner. Where there's money. Where is this money coming from? How are they getting that much money? If they're coming from a poor country, you figure that one out. Are they really taking them to the destination of what they're being promised? That they're going to go to a location where they're going to get a job, they're going to do something, or are they taking them somewhere else where they're going to be used for something else, and they're paying for the price of the body? Just something to think about. I know this because I've seen the people that haven't made it back, where they find mass grave sites of families where they're dead out there in the bushes of the, how should I say, the land, where they never made it to the destination. They get dentated, they go the wrong way. There's wolves. I mean, there's real wolves. They run into rattlesnakes. I heard a story where a young gentleman, where the border patrol was chasing him, and there was a cotton seed that those containers are that hold the seeds for the cotton, right? So there was a story was told to me about border patrol, where there was two of them, and they go underneath the container. Well, when they went to get them, one of them had gotten bitten so many times by the rattlesnakes, and the other one got bit several times too, in which both of them died because they don't carry the how should I say, the antidote for that many bites. Where they said when they had to move the containers, that the bodies were all swollen up of venom, that they were just bloated up. And the two illegal aliens, right? So us, they never, they died because they were running away from the border patrol. There's some that jump on the trains, and when they're trying to jump on the trains, they get caught up with the train, so they wind up dead because of the train, where they're trying to make it up north. Those are the things that I witnessed when I was growing up. Uh, it is the only thing that's dividing the countries in which, if y'all know your history, Texas, uh, Texas, New Mexico, and a lot of other states, even California, at one point in time was Mexico, right? Part of Texas was Mexico. So basically, you could say that the United States, at one point in time, when there was a war, they robbed land from Mexico. But a lot of the states that we have, part of those states was Mexico, or some of the states were Mexico. But that's why I say, are they really? They have the borders where they're at now. But at one point in time, when those borders were in there, the land that was that some of the land from Texas was Mexico. So, are they really technically crossing over? I mean, I understand when they go further up, like to Dallas area, and go to different states. That's they're illegally entering into our country. But there's some that enter legally because they have the paperwork that went through the right process. But since we're talking about that, right? Some people say that the people that come from Mexico are bad people, or they come in that nature are bad. I'm just here to tell you that in the 70s, because I was a migrant worker, I want to share a story with y'all. Uh, I'm going to share a story with y'all. We was migrant workers and was entering Texas, and we stopped by this Exxon in Texas, and the sun was already going to set. It was going to be like 7 o'clock, and at that gas station of the Exxon, there was a sign. Right, there was a little restaurant, and there was a gas station. We were trying to get gas, and the person from the gas station didn't want to give us gas. Where we were parked, there was a restaurant, and there was a sign. And this is what the sign said, brothers and sisters. I don't know if you're old enough for this, but I remember this. The sign read this: no N, the N word. It says no wetbacks, only dogs allowed. And then it said, don't be caught after sundown. Which was, the sun was down, and the American lady that was in the gas station, she was just looking around, and she says she didn't want to get in trouble, but she still gave us gas. And when she gave us gas, she told us get out of here fast. She would like literally helped us out. If we would have stayed in that town after sundown, I don't know what would have happened. So when people say that all the bad people are just coming from across the border, nah, there's some bad people here in the United States too. People like that, like what that sign said. No, and look through history, right? So you can't call the kettle black, right? When it's messed up on both sides of the borders, you know, you see people they go from the United States to Mexico, and they disappear over there because there's evil people over there that are in cartels killing people. When they cross into the United States, you got evil people in the United States where they're part of how should I say, clans, right? KKK. and they make those people disappear, and so many other crooked people within our government that well, what is the name of the? I think it's Mordok or Moloch, what they worship, the Clintons, and a lot of people that it's a big statue of that. Should I say? It's like something to worship, like a demon, right? And that's where this blood sacrifices happen from the people that are within our government that are affiliated that worship that, in which innocent children get a lot of bad things happen, and from the children that you could say they're getting from other countries, they're smuggling them in and they're doing evil things to them, just like Epstein's Island, right? You heard about that. Well, in that nature, that's what some of the corrupt government, the people that are affiliated with that, I would say, satanic cult. That's what they do. And what's sick about it is to get away with it. Yes. So there's evil people on both sides of the borders. The question is, who that gets in power is going to finally place their foot down and say, you know what, it's time for justice, and start arresting these people that have done evil things. You know, they're quickly to throw the book at somebody here that's a civilian. I believe these people that are in power, doesn't matter what kind of power they're in, they should be brought to justice. You know, hopefully that'll happen one day. That somebody in power will be able to do that. Yeah, you go Moloch. That's what the work of the Clintons. You know, there's a history about the Clintons. That check it out. I used to go to thrift stores and stuff like that, and I would get VHSs, right? Because I like recording stuff. I found a VHS and I decided to play it just to see what's in the VHS. And it was a detective. It was like a home video of a detective, and this detective had a lead on the Clintons, right? He said that he found out they were affiliated with Moloch and Mohammed. They had killed innocent people in their land where bodies were being found of women in their land that they owned, right? Well, there was already out of the presidency. So he said that as he was deep into the investigation, and he was trying to get enough evidence to try to arrest them, that a demon appeared in his house, and the demon told him to leave him alone or else that something bad was going to happen to him, and that the demon disappeared. That that was what was on that video, what I witnessed of the man making a little, how should I say, a documentary of the evidence that he had, but that he backed away because of the demon that appeared in his room, that he feared for his life, that these people that are in power are being controlled by a higher source that is pure evil. Yes, that's, the big owl. You say it's a big owl. Well, that's where Lechusa, which is a witch, in which they're witches and warlock. The Clintons, the witches and warlocks is what the worship, or the witches and warlocks of what I know. That's what the manifesto is, an owl, which we call Lechusa in Spanish, and they're pretty big. There's some that the dark ones, right? They can manifest into these owls that are black, and you can see. I've seen an orb flying around. Oh, it's not an orb; it's a light bug, one of those night bugs that they can manifest into them. But that's what they worship. That's what they believe. I believe we were talking about it earlier. You got the sirens, and I can't remember what's the name the brother Josh said. He called it something else. Uh, Another name for the sirens, or what was I can't remember the name that he said. what they are, those manifestations of this. I almost remember the name right now. Uh, Harpies, the harpies, and the sirens. Right? There's some sirens. They were created. They were created after the Washers slept with women, so they got transformed into these creatures, which was the harpies, which is part owl that they're able to talk. And you got the siren. There's some sirens because the Washers slept with not just women. They slept with women, right? So you have some sirens that are like owls, and you have some that are sirens that are in the ocean, which are like they're what we call the mermaids, right? They're called mermaids, but they're called sirens, which they have that the transformation that they took after they slept with the Watchers. Well, those are the manifestations that witches, warlocks, because their soul is already sold, and that's what they believe in, that they have the capabilities to manifest into these beings, which are like owls, bird-like, yes. Uh, the face of a woman, but the body of an owl, right? And imagine if it's a size of a person, and yeah, I know there's different sizes of owls, right? You got some owls that are bigger and others, but imagine some that are tall, that they have the height of some of the some of those lechuzas that I witnessed that were black. They were massive, man. That they look real big when they're flying in the sky, and when they land in the ground, they're even bigger. So you're talking about beings that are like 8 foot, 9 foot, possibly 10 foot tall. When you're seeing them flying high, but when they get down to the ground, they're that big. Um, but that's all dealing with the same thing. Oh yeah, they follow you around. The lechuzas follow you around because you know along the borders. That's one thing that's the borders. That's all throughout the United States. Is cults, right? Cults of the Brotherhood, which is brujas and brujos, and they're affiliated from states to state to state because just like there's people that worship the Heavenly Father, and there's people that are affiliated through a certain church, right? They're affiliated that way, so they know who they are. They have. Well, I have a sister in. They'll say the names of the town. It's the United States, so yeah, because they're part of a cult, right? So they called like just like when we say that's my brother and sister in Christ. Well, there's some people that say that's my sister. Like when it's a sisterhood, brujas, they say that's my sister. She lives in Houston. This sister that I have here lives in Dallas. This sister is from Minnesota. This sister is from here. This sister is from here. And it's not because they're from a fraternity or they went to college, because they're from the sisterhood of the brujas, the lechuzas. So that's the unite. When they unite is to do a wrongdoing to somebody. Try to do the witchcraft, and necromancy towards people, especially that works would have already been done between 1 and 2, but at 3 is whatever they sent, whatever familiar or whatever demonic entity they conjured up, they try to send it to the people that has a target in the back, like around this time frame that I'm making the video right now. I'm sorry that I couldn't get it here earlier, but that's what they do. Those are the works that they do. Uh, some of them have what I witnessed. One thing I never forget, the things that I see. Some of them have little altars. Like they could have, for example, when they infiltrate, right? They could have a little altar of candles with how should I say, with the saints, right? If they're Catholic. But when nighttime comes around, they pull that to the side, and they take out the black and red candles out, or the black candles out. Underneath the bed, they might have a pillow that's color purple, and it's got, let's say, the symbol, the satanic symbol on it, and go worship what they truly believe in, right? So they use the illusion, they could go to the Catholic Church, right? So people could think they believe in Jesus Christ, but they're just infiltrating. That's what I want to talk about. There's different ways that people that are affiliated in that church are just infiltrating. And there's people that go to the churches and that way infiltrating the church, but they're really worshiping something else. So if that person has a how should I say, a bad omen on them, and they're in the church, you know how within the mass sometimes in the Catholics that people start shaking hands with one another. But what if that individual has an omen on them or something that they conjured up, a spell, and they go up to the person that they have the spiritual hit on, and they go pat them on the back or shake their hand. What they're transferring is a spell or what they wished upon them on that person in church. So next thing you know, the person that they wish bad upon, things start happening to them. Depends on the measure of what they're trying to do. They get sick, things start happening to them, and nobody knows where it's coming from. But it's from those people that are infiltrating, pretending to be Christians, but they're infiltrating the church. And I think we know some of those kind of people there. His sister Madeline's here. We know some of the people that try to say verses. They try to say the worship of God, but the acts they do when, especially when you tell them to stop, and they continue to keep on pestering you or coming at you in a negative way because they don't want to stop, is because you could say they have like a spiritual hit on you. Hell out of you. They want you to go to anger because that's a spiritual opening. They want you to be upset with them because they're trying to accomplish something. So what you have to do for anybody that's getting spiritually targeted in any kind of way, I say here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, is always maintain your love foundation. That's what I've done. I can tell, through the spiritual gift of discernment, I can tell who the enemy is. So when they're trying to do something, I can share some stories with y'all. I'm going to share them here with y'all, how the enemy can infiltrate. But how the spiritual gifts of discernment are more important, how the Heavenly Father can help us. Oh, yes. Oh, I've got stories. Brother Ramirez. Okay, I'm gonna answer to Ivy Ramirez. There was this female I had met, and she told me that she wanted to know about Jesus Christ, and she said, "I heard that you preach, and that you talk about Jesus Christ. You try to help out people." And she's like, "I want you to help me." So she started coming to my house, and we were reading the Bible, and next thing you know, one thing led to another, right? So I'm trying to stay, how should I say, focused on being the spiritual nature of me as a Christian, or Christianity, or Christian, or spiritual person, right? So this woman started, you could say, seducing me, which I'm a man, I'm not perfect, but during the seduction process, that she was trying to do, I had my shirt off and she was trying to seduce me. She came up to my ear and she whispered something in my ear. This is what she whispered. She said, when she whispered, she said, "How do you feel letting your God down?" And when she said that, Spiritual Warrior 8 came out. I looked at her right in the eyes and I said, "I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name." When I said that, she took off real fast out of the house. You know why? Because it was a bruja. It was a witch infiltrating, thinking that everything that she done was trying to do to me, like seduce me, that she already had me where she wanted me, but that wasn't the case. I maintained my love foundation, and nothing happened between me and her. But I rebuked her in Jesus Christ's name, and that was the last time I ever seen her. All I knew is supposedly she was from Kansas, You know, I think what it was, she got sent my way because there was this lady that she said that she was a witch and that she could do this, she could do that, and I said that I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe it was that old lady that sent her my way to see if they can try to place a hex or do something in that nature against me, but it didn't work. But that's just a story. We're talking about things here. Well, I'm sharing stories with you all about that. How they can infiltrate that, how the enemy can infiltrate and deceive you in that nature, where you think it's somebody cool that the person really wants to know about Jesus Christ, and then they show the true nature. You know, so the thing is that I always have Jesus Christ with me. So when they show me the true nature of what the word really about is when I fought them spiritually and I said, I type, I rebuke in Jesus Christ's name, and I told them to leave. And they took off. Uh, these witches, man, they carry things on them. Like unclean spirits that are attached to them. So I could feel and I could see the true nature of her true form, how she really looked when they happened. But I wasn't afraid, and I was able to overcome that. I want to talk about the spiritual aspect of it, where imagine this: you're looking at somebody, Germany. You consider a witch. We can talk about gypsies, right? Gypsies are witches. I was 19 in Germany. I was at a bar. I was drinking, and I was talking with this beautiful young woman. We're talking. She looked like a model. Then after the bar closed, I'll tell her, hey, can I walk with you? And we're just talking, we're walking. And she said, I'm almost near my home. I said, well, nice meeting you. And she said, you know what? You don't have to walk all the way to the billets. If you want to, you say, you can come sleep at my house. You can sleep there in the living room. So I said, I don't want to intrude. He says, no, sure, you're more than welcome. I'm in a foreign country. So I go, I enter her home, I see the couch. It's like she had like a two-bedroom. So it's more like a little house, two-bedroom. We had the kitchen with a couch, and then the next room was the bedroom. So I go lay down on the couch. She goes into her room. Then she comes out of the room, and she said, "You can come sleep here." So I'm looking at her because the customs in Germany are different than the United States. When she tell me you can come sleep here, she's literally naked. But the customs are different over there. They're used to that kind of stuff, right? That they're not ashamed to share their bodies. So she's naked. I'm a soldier, and I'm just in my civilian clothes. So it's okay. So I'm tired, and I go because I have been drinking, some beers. So I just take off my shoes and I lay down right beside her. So I'm laying in my clothes, and there's a beautiful woman laying beside me, butt naked. I fall asleep because I had drank a little bit too much. Um, when I wake up in the middle of the night to look if she was still laying by me, she's not there. And I go like this with my hand. I don't feel nobody beside me. As I don't feel nobody beside me, I'm hearing like a thumping sound, like thump, something hitting wood. Because I guess the floor was made out of wood. So when I look towards the entrance where I walked in the room, I see somebody sitting there Indian style, right, with the legs crossed. And I'm looking, and it doesn't look like the girl. And I just seen a piece of mirror that was broken from a mirror. She was stabbing the wooden floor, where it was like a loud thump, thump, thump. And I'm looking, and I see foam coming out of the mouth, and the eyes are rolled back white. And as I keep on looking, it's not a young woman anymore. It's an lady, old lady. So basically, it was just a manifestation of a young woman that she took, but her true nature was an old lady, which would be a witch. She said that when she was a young woman, she told me this, that she was a gypsy, that and she told me that the lycanthrope exists, that it's real, basically saying that werewolves were real, that she would witnessing them, right? But when I seen this young woman turn into an old lady and she's stabbing the ground, blood is coming out of her hand, and her eyes are rolled back wide with foam coming out of the mouth, to me that's a possession of some sort. Well, so I was like trying to figure out, is was the young girl possessed, or is just the old lady her true self, her true nature? So I got up, put on my shoes, I went around her real slow as she was stabbing the ground. I was praying the Our Father within me. When I got to the door where we entered, there was a lot of deadbolts on it, like 6 or 7 of them. And I'm looking and trying to unlock them. You had the squish and it had the latch. So I'm trying to unlock all these bolts, and I'm looking and come running after me with that big old piece of glass, right? So as I'm looking and I finally open the door, I get out, and I'm not gonna lie, what I witnessed, it scared the hell out of me. So I was when I was in high school, I was a cross country runner. When I was in the army, I was always running like 20 miles. So guess what? I ran. I ran back to the billets. I never ran so fast in my life. And as I was running, I kept on looking back because I was getting the image of this witch that was going to be flying in the air coming after me, right? So I didn't even go through the main gate where you have to ID yourself. I ran and I jumped the fence. The fence was like 16 foot tall. I literally jumped the fence. I bypassed the main gate where the security guys are, and I jumped the fence to make it to the billets. That's how freaked out I was what I witnessed, right? Well, they, uh, they had this fest that was called the Strawberry Fest. And in the fest, they were talking about a legend. They were talking about a legend of a witch, which they were calling her the Strawberry Fest Witch. And when I looked at the statue that they had of the Strawberry Fest Witch, it was the same person that I had encountered. That happened in Erlangen, Germany. It was the same face of how what I witnessed, how it turned. They said that throughout history or throughout time that the witch will manifest to look very pretty, that she would lure men to her house, and then she would show them her true nature. And I believe it because it happened to me. I had an encounter with this what they call the Strawberry Fist Witch. When I heard of it at first, I thought it was just a story from the city, like a folklore. That somebody made it up. Like Hansel and Gretel or something like that. But after I experienced that, it's like I wouldn't. If I was drinking, I wouldn't go home with any woman. I didn't trust nobody no more after that incident. Like trying to go home party with somebody, I wouldn't do nothing like that. I would just go back straight to the billets. So if somebody would ask me, do you think? If somebody would ask me if I think there's lycanthrope and Nosferatu in Europe, I'm going to tell you yes. The reason I'm going to say yes because I witnessed that witch. There was a gypsy. So the witch was telling me that they're real, but to me, a witch that done sold their soul. So what I'm saying, there are more of a supernatural real. The lycanthrope. It could be a witch like her or a warlock that's able to manifest it into that beastly creature, or the Nosferatu. Like a succubus or incubus. I'm more sure there's a lot of things that exist. It's just I don't want to cross them, and which I've crossed many of them already. Uh, I'm not afraid, but I know they exist. The Clinton tape, that was a VHS, man. I don't even have a VHS no more. That was something that I found back in like in 19 was it like 90, 98, 99. It was a VHS. It wasn't even a CD. It was a VHS. I don't even got a VCR, uh, where I would just buy, VCR tapes where there were movies. And like they would sell a lot of good deals at the Goodwill. They had a place where they would open up in the back, and you would find old movies like from back in the day, like they were still in their case and everything. Like movies like Jaws, movies like all the VHS movies that they had back in the day, the Gremlins, and uh, well, I found this tape that was just an empty cassette, and I was going to use it to record because it was just like a one of those cases that one of those VHS cases that it's a tape that you could buy to record, right? So I went to go play to see there, just to make sure there was nothing there. But that's what surfaced up was what that detective was talking about. That detective wound up getting very sick, man, after that encounter of what happened to him. In the tape, it says where he got real sick and all this stuff because of what showed up in his home. Man, I don't know whatever happened to the tape. All the things that I had, the VHS tapes that I used to have when I left Elms Grove, back 16, I left all behind. I didn't want to take nothing with me because the house where we lived in Elms Grove had been through a lot of, how should I say, our house had been infiltrated by the unseen enemy, in which I felt that if I took anything from that house, that it will follow me. So it's like I left all my stuff there, man. Like I started from scratch. I left clothes, I left my son's toys, I left all the VHS tapes. Uh, I brought a couple of CDs with me, but even that I got rid of. I just didn't want to do nothing with that came from that house because of all the spiritual warfare that happened, uh, all the infiltration. I left everything behind. I paid off my home, the mobile home, and I left that too. Believe it or not, I left it. I didn't want nothing to do with it, so I left that um, because it was a bad experience. When you experience a lot of bad things at a certain location, and things happen for so long that you know what happened. You don't want to stay in a location where you experience something, so you just have to distance yourself away from that. Whether it's from your hometown where you experience something bad, or if it's your home, you don't want to go through it again. You don't want to relive the moment, even though you still relive the moment sometimes when you dream and it comes to you in your dreams, like a flashback of what happened. You just want to leave that all behind, and that's what I did. Everything behind. But we're talking right now about things that the unseen enemy does. We talked about some of the unseen the enemy. Well, unseen is unseen, right? Even people that are infiltrating, pretending to be good people, right? They're they have like the what do you call it? Split personalities. They can act a certain way, but then they show the true nature at nighttime. When they're worshiping what they worship. They go from wearing beautiful colors during the day, and then at nighttime they're wearing dark colors. Whether they're wearing all black or they're wearing those what do you call it? Those robes like with red and stuff like that because they have some kind of position within their cult. They show the true colors. I run into one of those areas where I used to live. I used to jog at nighttime, and I seen a bonfire in a field. So as I was walking up on the dirt road because it was pitch dark, I could see a lot of cars parked on the dirt road that goes in between the fields, and then I could see like 30 people in a circle, and they were wearing different colors, dark colors, black, and some of them had this. this maroon color, reddish color, in which they were part of a cult. They were practicing with the worship out there, and I know I was just looking at them, and at that time, it's like within me, it's like I felt that there were evil people, and those evil people, I was having some thoughts of doing something to handle them, but then I said no, I need to leave, and I left. I didn't do nothing. I was only when I witnessed this. So I knew that there's groups like that. They try to remain hidden, and they come out at night. Just like I'm here doing this live. But for the past 1, 2, 3 hours, there's been the people that come out at night doing other works. They come out and do what they do at nighttime. Uh, yes, some of the things now we're talking. Now I'm going to talk. I'll talk to you a little bit about the people that worship those things, right? So we should talk about witches, warlocks, even cults, people that have hatred and anger. They had like the KKK and all that. They're evil people also because they have hatred in the heart. So they fall in the same category as that, in which they do evil things throughout history. We know what the KKK has done. They've killed people, hung from trees. They've burned people. So they're as evil as the people that do those kind of sacrifices through cults, right? Killing babies, killing people, wasting blood sacrifices. That's no different than the KKK. They say, "Oh, that's what we do. That's part of our clan." No, that's doing evil shit. Evil is evil. Just because a witch and warlock are doing it and they're trying to make itself different, it's still the same thing. Evil is evil, especially when they have that much hatred in themselves. They're being utilized, especially when they come out at night. They- Okay, not to be mean, but I'll just say it like this: they're so stupid that they're wearing hoods with with the eye holes in them. Uh, Throughout history, they kill people, right? They lynched them. They burned them on crosses. But they're so stupid to understand that they're doing evil works. They're so stupid, right? So those are the ones that you call, and we've heard this term before, the good old boys. Hey, you're a good old boy. Like I know who you are underneath the mask. You're a good old boy. Those are the people that are part of the Klan, KKK. They call themselves good old boys because they know what they do. They know what they've done. So how should I say, they have their little cult alliance or clan alliance. But the good old boys are not good old boys, they're stupid old boys. Because the Heavenly Father sees everything that those good old boys or dumb old boys and what the cult. So it's just a matter of time for all those people that have done all these bad things to pay the piper. When Judgment Day comes, you know, it's time to pay the piper for all these people that do evil acts. They're going to pay. They will go into the lake of fire. Yeah, it's just like some of those people, they know they do that because they follow suit, right? So if somebody before them did that, they're following suit of their next of kin, right? So they continue to be part of the clan. Some follow suit to their next of kin, right? Or their next of kin before them was part of a cult. So they follow suit. You remind me of certain people from Oklahoma following suit of what their mother would do or mother does, right? They know the thing about these people, they know how to say verses from the Bible because they practice that. That they can say it like normal, but they have to practice it that way in order for them to blend in with the Christians, with the spiritual people. They do this. What gives them away is easy. There's a saying, the truth, I mean, the lie lasts till the truth comes out. So these people, they can read a scripture, say something, but they cannot hold the true nature of somebody with a love foundation, in which they show their true identity. How? By doing wrong. Bottom line, by doing wrong. They do more wrong than right. That's how they break their cover. And they do it time and time again. That it's kind of like they have to show the true, through spiritual law, where there's something demonic or somebody that is part of a cult. Through spiritual law, they have to identify themselves. So they see somebody that's a Christian or a spiritual person with love foundation. They identify themselves for who they are, like what they represent, and that's where you let them know what you represent. And if they decide to try to do something you spiritually, then you rebuke them in Jesus Christ's name, right? Whatever they're trying to do, and it goes back to the sender. It's kind of like it's crazy, but that's what I've witnessed, and that's how it happens. It's no different than when somebody belongs to a gang and they're throwing gang signs, right? They see you because they see you coming from a distance. That the demons that are upon them that got them bonded because of what they do is letting them know, hey, that guy there, he's got a true love foundation. Go after him. So they try to come after him, and after a person with a love foundation, and they can hold their true nature. They can, no matter what they say, uh, evil is evil, and when they do more evil than the good that they do, that's a dead giveaway of what they're about. And I've seen it happen. There's certain people like that here in the paranormal community and the crypto community, where they say something but they do the opposite. Okay, I just got rid of something that I don't know what they're saying, but I believe is a troll. You know, and the trolls. That's one thing about those people. They hate the truth. They dislike when you speak in truth, because when you speak in truth and you're speaking with the love foundation and you're speaking through Jesus Christ, they that breaks any principalities. That breaks the principalities of somebody being in a cult, being a witch, a warlock, uh, whatever, how should I say, stage they are in their initiation of whatever they're trying to accomplish. Through spiritual law, what's attached to them gets pissed off, and they reveal themselves to me. That's when I know who's who. That's when I know uh, what they're about. So what do? I'm a Timala Foundation. I rebuke whatever that's attached to the individual, but I know where they stand. Uh, and there's a pattern where they could say they love Jesus, or they could say a verse from the Bible, but then when they spend 90% of the time talking bad about somebody, now that is their true nature. That's their true nature. Yeah, there's oh, I don't know, man. I'm not into rap. I'm not into rap. Now I know about rap, but I don't know if he was singing a song or not. So I just booted him out. I don't know. As a matter of fact, since we're talking about rap, you know, music is another thing that Lucifer and their minions would do, that are doing to, how should I say, attack people spiritually. They've been doing it for a long time. I know y'all remember one point in time, like in the 80s, where if you played certain music backwards, it was saying a demonic message. With that nature, that's what music does also. There was people that wanted to be famous, that wanted to make money, so they made deals. They made deals with you hear the stories not just from singers of nowadays, but from old jazz singers, where they will make deals on a crossroad, where a demon would appear, and they said, "Okay, I'm going to make you famous. You're going to be able to play this instrument this well, but when it's time for me to collect your soul, I'm going to come for your soul." So there's a lot of people in the music industry that have sold their souls, and their souls don't belong to them anymore. So it's just a matter of time that they get taken, because they made some kind of pact or some kind of deals for fame. We see a lot of that. Oh yeah, magicians, of course, witches, warlocks, people in power that are within our government. There's even, how should I say, popes. I'll say it like that. Popes, people with the religion, that are infiltrating within the religion, and they're working for something else. Catholic Church is primary example of that. If you go to the Roman Catholic Church, or in Rome, you'll see all the demonic angels that look possessed within the church. They look literally possessed, and how they look reminds me of, how should I say, a centaur, or what is that being? This part, is it a centaur? The one that was with Hercules, the one that's a little goat with a human body and the face of a goat. Well, that's what that reminds me of when I see some of those statues that look like they're possessed within the Catholic Church. Why would they have uh, figures of people or images of things that are possessed within the church? There you go, Pan. That's the one I was trying to think of. Who am I? I'm a, how should I say, who am I? Spiritual Abe. I place Jesus Christ first. That's what that's what I work through. It's Jesus Christ. And if something manifests to try to show itself to me, and I'm recording, like right now, I'll try to capture it on video, or as I capture it on video, when it surfaces up, then I debunk the video, and I take a screenshot of it or make a short reel out of it. And I place it here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on my short reels, or I'll place it on TikTok. I have a TikTok under HCS where it's nothing but short reels of the DDN, called Disembodied Demonic Nephilim, which are demons. I capture them and I place them so people can understand that there's other things that are infiltrating our world that cannot see. And some people say, how come I can't see them? Because somewhere they're being spiritually bonded, they're able to see. But for those that are spiritually blessed with the spiritual gift of discernment, we're able to see them. So as I do the spiritual works for the Heavenly Father, for Jesus Christ, I'm here. And what I do is put them out on spiritual blast so people can understand that there are unseen beings that are around us that are just to cause chaos and havoc. And they're about destruction because they dislike us. Imagine, they dislike us because we're created under God's image. So what is it saying when we're created under God's image? Right? That means anybody that was born from the light, right? Looking, so we're created under God's image. That would include the people that have gone astray to practice other things. They were created under God's image also. So if they dislike, and we know throughout history that at one point in time, the watchers created the Nephilim, in which the Nephilim was destroying all of God's creations on earth. So the great flood was created to destroy them. Well, the DDN is the disembodied demonic Nephilim. What's left of them in spirit forms is they're part demonic. They still dislike mankind. So if they can trick somebody that they're giving them power in some kind of way, but tricking them thinking that they're giving them some kind of power, but they're really setting them up for failure because they hate mankind, which means that sooner or later they're going to take them, they're going to destroy them. They pretend to be their friends. You hear it all the time, the different names that people give them. You hear people giving them the name of forest people, or dark. Is it? There's just a couple other names people try to use, but they're given some kind of principality, some kind of power, right? But they dislike us. They dislike mankind. So the only thing that they want for us is chaos, division, destruction. They're not here for us. They're not here for us. They're here against us. And those are the things that are still here on earth. Because people are too busy living life, too busy going to the casinos, too busy going on vacations, too busy on doing things that are built to distract people from what's really happening amongst us, which is these unseen forces that are around that cause the chaos and the havoc where people die. That's what they do. So we got another troll here. So he's out of here. I got rid of that guy. I don't mind getting rid of people that I don't mind getting rid of people that, how should I say, that are trolls. I don't mind. No, I don't mind speaking to people. If you want to speak in truth, let's talk about it. But if you're on here and say something dumb or something stupid that you're just trying to interfere with what I'm trying to speak, I just boot you out. So that's no problem. And the troll has been gone. Yeah, brother. If brother Steve Wolf, look, Jesus knows what's in your heart. Jesus knows what you're about. So I know nobody's perfect in this world, but somewhere along the line, right, dealing with that, somewhere along the lines dealing with that, you should know who Christ is, in which you know what he can do. If you continue to live the pattern and all your life you live the pattern of imperfections and you continue to ask God for forgiveness, but within yourself you know what's right and wrong, then is it really other things causing you to do that, or is it you? So sooner or later, you have to choose of what path you want to be and how you want to be, in which there won't be any imperfections, especially when you know that's what's at stake is your soul and your opportunity to make it into the kingdom of heaven. That's what's at stake. You know, people don't want to take that seriously. You know, if you can make it into the kingdom of heaven, there's everlasting life and spirit, uh, entering God, the heavenly kingdom. But there's a lot of things here in this world, man, that just messes everything up for a lot of people. You know, that a lot of things that are placed in place to prevent you from getting closer to Jesus Christ, to really having a true relationship with Jesus Christ, in which He is about love, He's about forgiveness, He's about not having hatred. It's about doing. It's about caring for people. He's about, you know, love, man. Like He loves us all. He just uh, if we can, you know, people that are being bonded, if they can free themselves from the bondage, to be able to see what's better, which what's better is Jesus Christ. Yeah, and some people that are living in sin, they want to continue their dirty ways. Do they listen to somebody like me speaking in truth about maintaining a love foundation, being good to people, and they want to continue to play the games that they play? They come at me in a negative way through here with the fake profiles because they're not even man enough. They're so bonded. They're not even. I don't mind having a discussion with anybody. Like somebody wants to go one on one. I don't mind speaking to some. I'm not hiding from nobody. You know, who's the people that hide? It's the people that are doing the wickedness that hide. That like to hide. They don't want for you to show their true nature, to reveal the truth out of them. So that's why you got some other trolls that pop in here. I know who they are already, uh, because they've been following me around. But they don't want the truth of them to be revealed, in which I already know what they're about. Because the things they do or they say is, you know, when somebody's trying to interrupt of you saying something good, what does that? What interrupts someone that's trying to do good? For example, if somebody is being demonically possessed and you're trying to cast the demon out of the individual, and the demon suffers up because it's trying to interrupt from you to help the person, free the person from the bondage. Well, a person that's being bonded spiritually, that don't want to change their ways, those are the ones that come up against you. So as you see here tonight, some other trolls say some dumb things because they're just trying to interfere on the good works that I'm trying to do. They're trying to cause interruption, but I'm not worried about them. You know, other ways the enemy can infiltrate spiritually. I've been talking a lot about other things of people, how the enemy infiltrates, and now I'm talking about demonic entities, how they infiltrate. They deceive many children, grown people. They come manifest to look like you or me. They can manifest anything. So, in the essence of a way, they infiltrate that way, making you think that you might be seeing a friend of yours that's calling you to go a certain way, or like for children, they're seeing their mother and father calling them into the woods. But it's really the enemy infiltrating, making them believe of the manifestation that they're taking, that it's them, the people that they love. So some people get tricked in that way, in which They're not amongst us no more because they're taken. They're taken somewhere else to the dimension of the deceiver. They get taken because they believe 100% that it's the people that they love, and it's them, but it's not really them. So once they make contact with them, grab her on the hand, they can impersonate the voice of their loved ones. There's some that probably have escaped because children, I'm talking about children, that they're anointed and they can see right through the impersonator. They're taking a disguise and they can see right through them spiritually because they're children of God. So this when they see the true identity of what's trying to lure them, they don't go with them. They go away from them. They go to where somebody that they know. There's some that have been lured that way. That's why we have so many missing children in the world. So we got children disappearing here on Mother Earth through evil people, and you got children disappearing because they're getting lured a different way and disappearing, going somewhere else as they're being deceived by the enemy because they're infiltrating, pretending to be somebody. You're welcome, Chris, coast to coast. So imagine how many people have been deceived that way, that they could be at a place where there's torture, spiritual torture, and that's all they know because that's what's being shown to them. Which there's the place where souls get tortured, the flesh comes off and then comes back on, everlasting torture, because that's what they do to make somebody that might be good spiritually, because they're children of God, to try to how should I say, change a person's way, right? In that manner, but through torture and through the evil works, trying to turn somebody. But if that person is good, like I said before, they'll be able to see right through it. They won't fall into the charade of the disguise that they're taking. There's baby again. That's one right there, baby. I know who you are. I always tell you every time you pop up, I ask you, how's your son doing? And I tell you, I hope your son is being taken care of by your ex-wife. I don't wish bad against you in any kind of way, shape, or form, man. I mean, to me, the past is the past, right? But I raised my son by myself, and I didn't have assistance for nobody. I did it because I love my son. I raised my son. I never asked for a single penny for anybody. Uh, why can't you just be yourself, man, and be who I know who you are. How come you just can pop up here, who you really are with your real group, instead of creating a fake profile in which I know who you are already? That's why I said, how's your son? I would figure that your son got taken away through a government agency, right? I've just been talking about how governments are crooked. So I would figure you would think, well, maybe I would need to protect my son, right? And do something about it, but you don't take it seriously. Uh, I probably think that your son is being well taken care of. That's why you still continue to play the games that you play, coming here with fake profiles. I mean, I feel sorry for you, for your son, but I don't think you take it seriously, man. In order for you to be able to obtain your son back will mean you have to change your ways. And or you come in my sight all the time, uh, doing saying stupid things and come in a negative way, I guess your son must not be mean that much to you. In saying that, I'll continue to keep you in my prayers, but I must let you go out of what I'm speaking about right now. Yes, Bebe, the guy Bebe is a guy that's got a group called AI, which is called Abnormal Investigation. He trolled me for about a whole year and a half, in which he invited me to his group. And as soon as I entered his group, I started getting trolled, but I was being trolled by him with fake profiles. So this guy was trolling me for a long time with fake profiles until I figured out who who it was, and I told him I know who you are, and I told him to leave me alone. He wouldn't leave me alone. Uh, I'm not perfect. That he kept on trolling me, so talking bad about me that I want to handle business with a guy. But I know by going the routes through anger, hatred is not good, and there could be a spiritual opening. So I even extended a olive branch to this guy, telling him, "Look, how about you just leave me alone, stop trolling me, and I won't say nothing bad about you in any kind of way, shape, or form, or talk about you or your son. Just leave me alone." I thought things had stopped, but he surf- he surfaces he's surfacing up with his fake profiles. But I know who he is. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy. Well, not for him, because what he does he's already used to. I'm afraid. I feel sorry for his son. You know, I believe all children should have somebody, their parents, and should have parents that care for them, that love them. Because when the guy with a fake profile named Bray Bray is being spiritually bonded by the unseen, well, he's already got him. Because look at him, he's pretending to be somebody he ain't. But what the real deal behind all that is, the focus is the son. So when the head of the household is being spiritually bonded, is they come for the children. Like I said, and I'll read again. I'll say it again. They dislike mankind. What's mankind? Our children are mankind also. Chosen ones. So basically what I'm saying to Bray Bray is get your head out of your arse and focus, and just know that your son is being spiritually targeted right now. You shouldn't be focused on anybody else, but you should be focused on your next of kin, which is your son. Go into prayer, do something about it to get your son back. It's a serious matter. That's all I can tell you. But he takes it as a joke. This guy, brother and sisters, whoever's reviewing, he, he creates, and all he wants is money. He's using his son as a way to make money. I know the situation. A lot of people know the situation. So in the back of his background, you see why I got a background here? It'll say the name of his son, and it's like every 5 to 10 minutes, he just wants donations because he wants people to feel sorry for the situation he's in. So, but he's been doing that for a very long time, asking money for from left to the right. For he pretends he's a victim of a lot of things. But that's what he does. It's sad. Who's gonna put their son out there as a way to make money? That's not love. When you put him out there as bait, it's like putting him on bait on a hook, and you're throwing it out there for the sharks to come. And that's exactly what he's doing. He should feel shame himself for doing that. I won't mention his name, but we'll just call him Bree Bree because that's a fake profile that he was using. of what I've witnessed throughout my life. I've seen it, man. I've seen the unclean spirits. When I was a kid, because I've had the spiritual gift of discernment for a very long time. Imagine being in school. You're playing with your friend on the swing sets. Next thing you know, you see the unclean spirit in your friend, and it's laughing at you through your friend. And you want your friend to come back, but it's being controlled by something else. So you have to use your love foundation and make contact with them in order for that unclean spirit. Because when you're a kid, you don't have the wisdom and knowledge. As you grow, it's when you learn the wisdom and knowledge. So I remember making contact with some of my friends that were being spiritually attacked or by these unseen forces, where you could see it through them, like manifesting in their face, looking at me. When I would make contact with them with love, because I cared about my friends, the unclean spirit will leave. Yeah, I just wish she would take it seriously, Joshua. I wish she would take it seriously. Just some. I mean, I don't hate towards the guy because I know that there's bondage, and I believe he's being bonded right now. That what he's being bonded is because he's allowing it, whether he has hatred or anger in his heart. But I wish you could see that it's a lot worse than that. That it's about his son. Not unless he knows already chosen what side he wants to be on spiritually, then he knows exactly what he's doing, which is already siding with that side of the balance. And that's why I feel sorry for the son. I continue to have his son in prayer. Like I said, I don't have nothing against him. I don't have nothing against next to skin. It's just I wish he could awaken and take it seriously. Anybody that has family, daughter, a son, your parents, your brothers and sisters, if a family member gets start getting spiritually attacked, what are you going to do about it? You going to let it happen, or you going to make a spiritual stance against it and fight it spiritually to get rid of it, right? Because you love your next of kin. That's what's happening with him right now, and I feel sorry for that boy. I keep him in prayer. Uh, he's popped up here with the Bray Brays. He's popped up with this other one called Hunt. What was it? Something Hunt. Now I know who he is. Look, all the trolling that you did, that you've been wasting time. I'm gonna say wasting time. Look where I'm at now. I'm at 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to the viewerships that's here to listen. All that time that you've been trying to come up against me, stop me from growing, because whoever sent you, whoever you're affiliated with, did it work? No. I'm to where I want to be spiritually, and I still continue to do the works that I do. Doesn't matter how many profiles you come at me with, we're going to continue to do the works that I do spiritually. So Michael, if you believe in science, right? So do you believe in roach traps? Because that's one thing he likes to do also. You like coming in the lobby, use his real first name. So when I'm talking about roach traps, I'm kind of making fun of him right now. Have you cleansed your environment? Sometimes when the government agency comes to your home and the home is dirty and they don't see it fit for a child to live in, they will remove the child from the home. Have you fixed that problem? Michael Brigby. Yeah, this guy, he'll start a beef with somebody, and then when the person, like for example me, start defending myself, he'll go to his channel and he'll say that I'm attacking him when it's him attacking me with his fake profiles. So when I'm talking to the fake profiles because it's him infiltrating like a troll, you know. So I know he's listening to what I'm saying. I wish you could get into his head or what I'm trying to tell him. But when somebody's is fixated on just being a troll, and that's like a form of possession if you think about it. When you have Facebook, the one Facebook profile, right, of me. This guy has thousands or hundreds of fake profiles. Fake profiles. He might have one. I don't even know if he's got a real profile or not. So when you think about it like that, when something's bonded or something's being possessed, what possesses somebody? The legion, right? So how many are the legion? There are many. So you compare the many of the legion, compare the many of his profiles. That's letting you know right there. That's being bonded, spiritually bonded. I try to help him out. I even said I would pray for him. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say a little prayer for him right now. Heavenly Father, at this time, I would like to pray for my old buddy from Oklahoma. This one will do for you, brother. Heavenly Father, at this time, I would like to place spiritual heavenly crosses on him from head to toe. I would like to place heavenly spiritual crosses on each of his family members from head to toe. We're placing spiritual heavenly crosses on his doorways, on his windows, and we're taking authority over Jesus Christ, over any unclean spirits that is bound in this family at this time. We tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name, and you're not welcome there. Leave now. This I pray in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. See, brother, I'm not your enemy. I just pray for you and your family, man. Pray for you and your family. But what's controlling you is making you think I'm your enemy. I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend. I'm your ally. We're all spiritual brothers and sisters. Even though you've done a lot of things to me, I don't hate you. I just want you to awaken and look at the error of your ways, and you can change. I just pray for you and your family, brother, and wish, hopefully, something good comes out of it from the prayer I just did, that there will be a little opening for you to be able to get your son back. I just pray for you, man. And the heavenly Father, right? He listens to our prayers. I pray for you and all your family members, man. And like I said, I never had nothing against you. I really didn't know who you were. Only you knew what you were up to, you know, but I forgive you. I forgive you daily. Even when I seen you pop up here, there's somebody else that popped up here, and I believe it's the same guy, so let me remove this guy. Somebody Lono, you know. Oh, yeah. I just prayed for a person that came up against me for over a year, and he still does, but I pray for him and his family right now. I don't hate you, man. I'm your brother in arms. If I ever see you in a situation where you'll be drowning, I'll jump in there and save you, man. Because I believe in you, man. I believe that you can make a change. It's within you. You just gotta dig deep, man. Dig deep within yourself and find out who truly you are. You gotta take things spiritual serious. But I just pray for you and your family, man, for good things to come for you. You're welcome. I've seen it happen. My cousin Jesse told me a story where he was in a church and they were shaking hands. And when they were shaking hands, that he felt an unclean spirit enter his body. And as a priest was coming to talk to him, that the unclean spirit that entered his body was making him think to do something very bad to him. And the thoughts that were coming into him, and you could say it was a form of possession, that he wanted him to destroy that priest. But he said he had the ability to be able to walk out of the church because he didn't want no harm to come to anybody. So he left. He don't even know how he got it home. But when he got home, he was just passed out, like all his energy was drained. And he was just glad that nothing happened to that priest or to anybody in that church, that whatever entered his body. So for nothing to happen to anybody, he left, right? And I've been talking to him spiritually, and he's grown spiritually, and he's listened to my words of wisdom, in which he says help him now. And I told him, look, he felt that the church was evil, that the wolves in the church jumped on him, and it was telling him not to go back to the church. And I will tell them it's not the church that's evil, it's that you had a spiritual opening. You had a spiritual opening. You had to ask God for forgiveness for something that you've done in the past. Forgive people or ask God for forgiveness. But it's what entered you was the thing that's been keeping you bonded, because it don't want you to get closer to Jesus Christ. So it did that to keep you away from the church, so it could keep you bonded. He listened to my words of wisdom. He asked God for forgiveness, repented for his sins, and he's able to go to church now, and nothing has happened in that nature anymore that's keeping him away from church. Oh yeah, that can transfer. Well, what do you got in church? In church, Brother Russ, even though there's people that might go up there and read the verses of the Bible in front of the church, or to help the priest out, there's people there that are sinners, right? They go in there for what? To repent for their sins, to ask God for forgiveness, because they're living in sin. So what could those people have in them? The spirits, the attachments that are making them live in sin. So as they're praying for and asking God forgiveness, if that spirit sees somebody else with a bigger opening that it can bond stronger, it's going to jump into that individual to bond stronger. A lot of these demonic forces, when we talk about shadow people in the church, you can have lights all in the church, but if you look in the darkness, you can be able to see them moving around in the darkness, or they're just waiting to see a person with a spiritual opening. So they jump from person to person, which is called, like they said here, transferring of spirits. It could be through a simple handshake. When you do in the Catholic Church, you turn around and you say peace be with you. Whether you do a handshake or you hug somebody, and you say peace be with you. If the person has a negative attachment, then it can transfer to you in that manner in church. When the Catholic priests on the midnight mass, or they pass with that incense, right? And they're going like that through aisle through the people. Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think they're spreading the incense? They're doing it. They're doing it because sometimes the enemy has to reveal itself. So if the priest were to see something unusual within the smoke screen that is within a person, then he can pray for that individual or say, hey, can I speak at you at the end of the Mass? And pull him to the side, right? To be able to help him out spiritually. But with the spiritual gifts of discernment, you don't have to do that because it's a blessing that the Heavenly Father has blessed you to be able to help out people spiritually. So, but that's what normally happens. There's a lot of activity in church, in the parish halls, when you send your children to try to get the first communion or catechism. Things happen there too, uh, like I said, this when you hear that negative seeds are being planted, well, those negative seeds start at a young age. So they plant the negative seeds to prevent you, to make you go astray, to misguide you from the path that you're supposed to be on. So when you gain your wisdom and knowledge, then you'll understand more of why you've been through the things you've been through in life. Once you awaken spiritually, then you know what those negative seeds were, and then you know what you have to do, what you have to forgive, and pluck out those negative seeds through forgiveness, and make a spiritual stance against whatever planted it, and take authority over it through Jesus Christ's name, to be able to move on forward in a positive way, in which you awaken spiritually. Yes, Alex, right? Yeah, you're talking about being attacked through sleep paralysis and through sleepwalking. You got the succubus and the incubus. Some people call it the sea witch. They attack where you're asleep, um, through sleep paralysis. Sometimes they'll attack you uh, physically and sexually, right? Because they try to find uh, through all your spiritual senses. They like attacking through the tear ducts, through the ears, through the mouth, uh, and through your privates. In which sometimes you might be dreaming some sinful dreams where there's naked women, and they're trying to keep you your spirit preoccupied in the dream, but your body is by itself. So the succubus or incubus, while you're preoccupied in a dream like that, they're attacking your physical body as you're laying down. So sometimes when you wake up, you might have what looks like marks, hickey marks, scratches on your body, uh, bruises on your body. That's because they're attacking your body as they're keeping you preoccupied in the sleep paralysis. You know, and some people have the dreams where they're just seeing something, they're looking at them, but they can't move, they're frozen, they can't even lift up a finger. They awaken from the dream, but then just to find out that it's just another dream they woke up to, and it goes on and on. It can go up to 10 times that way, where you think you're waking up and you can't wake up. You're thinking about waking up. You thought you're awake and it's not. You're just still stuck in that dream. But then when you wake up, you're tired as hell. The reason you're tired as hell is because your energy is drained. For guys, it's the succubus. For the female, it's the incubus that drains your energy. When you're in a dream like that, and you're seeing the image of something dark in the distance looking at you or coming near you and you can't move, this is what I want you to do. Practice to look to your left or to your right, because you'll be able to see the succubus and incubus right beside you. And if you awake from the dream, train yourself to say, as soon as you wake up, to say, I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. Because when you wake up, you will see that tormentor. You will see the succubus and the incubus, because you train your spirit to awaken, that it's going to be hovering right over you with its mouth open, or should I say, because it's in disembodied form, sucking your energy. So when you see it and is having a feast on you because it's sucking your energy, say, I tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. When you say that, it will disperse and leave you alone. You say you want a protection. Black tourmaline, selenite. Black tourmaline keeps away negative energies. The selenite, the selenite is a it can absorb energy, like energy from the sun, from the moon, but at the same time, selenite brings your guardian angels and angels to assist you spiritually. If you want to get a good night's rest, they don't cost that much. Little pieces, raw pieces. You can get a little piece of black tourmaline or a black obsidian, but I like black tourmaline or selenite. Keep it around your neck, keep it in your pocket, keep it by where you sleep, and you will see that when you do that, that this succubus incubus are going to keep away. They're going to leave. They're going to leave you alone. They're not going to mess with you. And you're going to be able to sleep okay. I always carry them with me, brother. Doesn't matter where I go to, I carry them with me wherever I go. Black tourmaline. You know, you can always rewind the tape or the live feed. It's called black tourmaline. I get a closer look at it right here. And selenite. This one's got a little hole where you can put it around your neck. A friend of mine made this into like a little pendant, and I just got it with a piece of string around my neck, and I go to sleep with it. It's when I take it off, sometimes it's when those dreams try to come mess with me. But when I have it on, they leave me alone, or any unclean spirit stays away. But that's a protection that I carry with me around my home, wherever I go. When I go investigate, I keep it around me for protection. If, you hear where there's ghosts or unclean spirits, demonic spirits, where they drain the energy of people when they're out there, paranormal investigators or whatever they're investigating, right? They feel like their energy is being drained. The batteries from their equipment is being drained. The personal energy is being drained. But when you carry this stores energy, so your own spiritual energy will be protected by what you have around your neck. And of course, through Jesus Christ, when you pray before you go into investigation, you pray before. If things start going crazy in the investigation, your senses start getting triggered, senses that I mentioned. Sometimes when they attack the assassin forces, you can feel like a gust of wind going to your mouth. Sometimes you'll feel a gust of wind trying to go into your nose, or goes into your nose, into your ears, into your tear ducts. That's what they do. Those are the entry points that they enter. There's unclean spirits, demonic spirits. So if you feel that, you can say, I tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. You're not welcome here. Say that immediately. Take authority over it. Send it away. I'm just giving you some wisdom knowledge of what I witnessed when I've gone to investigate. Luckily that I've been here doing this video, nothing like that has happened. But I do see something in the distance over there, on the other side of the fence, looking at me. It might be a cat. I'm thinking it's a cat. I'll just leave it as a cat. You're welcome, Brother Alex Wright. And it's always good to cleanse your home. That will be the first step I will tell you to do, is cleanse your home. If you have holy water or something pure, olive oil, or you can make your own remedy with garlic, something pure. You can place heavenly crosses on your doorways, on your windows. And you can pray to cleanse your home and pray that if there's anything negative in your house, that you take an authority over it to leave your house, because you're head of the household, and you tell it it's not welcome there. And another thing that I would recommend, as I'm talking about selenite, I keep raw pieces of selenite on my window frames, like where something has tried to come in, like the windows. I keep selenite in my room, in the living room, in certain areas where you feel there might be a dark energy or something's trying to come in spiritually. Place it there. It'll protect your house to keep the unclean out. Yes. You got different kinds of, you got black tourmaline, you got black obsidian, onyx obsidian, you got rainbow obsidian, you got silver sheen obsidian, you got amethyst, you got different minerals, citrine, you got smoky quartz, regular quartz, labradorite. tiger's eye. Every mineral has some kind of energy, but the one I like wearing that has protected me successfully numerous times has been the black tourmaline and the selenite combined. Uh, or you could mix it up with a to have it like in a little pouch. You can have the black tourmaline, the selenite, and a what is it called? I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a square cube, and what that do is like a multiplier. It'll give the minerals that you have like 3 times strength to be that strong. I just can remember the name of the mineral on top of my head, but when I do remember, I'll let you know what it is. But by itself, it's strong. Well, hematite is one that you can use also. The one I'm talking about is like a square shape. It looks like a crystal mineral, but it's a multiplier of 3, where whatever you add to it, it makes them all combined together that stronger. I just can't remember the name of it on top of my head right now. Uh, some of them come with little rain. It's got like rainbows in it, which a rainbow is like when lightning hits, it creates like minerals like that to have rainbows. That means that when they hit the ground and the rainbow that's trapped in it is because of a lightning. Uh, I'm trying to remember the name, but if I can remember the name as I continue, I'll let you know the name. But all I know is a little square cube, and it's. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, James. Yeah, that's fluorite opal. There's all kinds of minerals. I collect minerals. If I were to take you inside my house right now, but everybody's asleep, maybe I'll make a video during the day to show you the minerals that I have. I keep it all throughout my house. Um, I'm trying to remember the name of. I'm the one that's speaking of, but it's not coming to me right now. But yeah, there's many minerals that are protectors. Raw selenite. I have a big piece that I got in my living room. When I first moved into this house, there was all kinds of activity. I could hear activity in the attic. I could hear where they come banging on the walls, on the doors, wiggling on the doors. Once I start praying and cleans the home, and I place the minerals where I placed them, all those things stopped that were happening. In which I made a spiritual stance, and whatever was trying to enter my foundation couldn't enter my foundation because I was protecting it. In that manner, we have to protect our personal foundation, which is our heart, our love foundation, because those are the opens they use to attack spiritually. Yeah, lapis lazuli. You got labradorite. You got, man. There's so many different minerals, different names. I collect minerals. The way I collect the minerals is because I got shoved by a demonic presence or demonic force off a ridge, and I came tumbling down, in which I dodged a lot of boulders from busting my head open. I used my body, my arms, my legs, my hips, my shoulders to block impact to my head. Now, when I finally stopped falling, uh, I was able to walk down, but I was hurt, seriously hurt, and I was in crutches for about 2 to 3 months. My body was all bruised up. Something tried to eliminate me, but I'm still here. And you just learn from what you go through. When that happened, from all the tumbling, I started learning about minerals. Uh, I started the first mineral that I seen that I witnessed was the amethyst. At an estate sale, there was some amethyst there. They were beautiful, and something drew me to them. And that was the first thing that I collected was amethyst, and then went from amethyst to geodes, uh, to crystals, like the one just calcites, and I just started collecting, and it's like, let's put it this way, I got a big collection, but I was like, I want to stop collecting, but I have a lot, that I have enough that I could give away or I can sell. Uh, there's so many things that are in Mother Nature itself. There's some items, man, they cost a lot of money, but I always get good deals, but I do have a lot. I have a lot of them in those cabinets with the lights. I have them on display inside my living room. So my living room where I watch TV is like that. I have like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, eight different crucial cabinets that have minerals in them that are in display. And then I have minerals that are still in boxes that I haven't opened up. But it became, it's not a hobby to me. It's just like the energy of the minerals I get that I could feel the energy of them. So when I feel the energy of what I'm looking at, then I collect it, you know. Oh yeah, selling would definitely work. You got pink calcite, you got rose quartz. Uh, Let me see. Oh, shit, I don't know about. Yeah, I think everyone's asleep right now. I'm trying to remember the name of the square one that I'm talking about, but maybe I'll go in there and show y'all. Like I said, maybe I'll do one during the day so y'all can see them better. Yeah, you got blue apatite, you got Amazonite, Dalmatian, you got was it chocolate? There's one called chocolate. This is like a chocolate calcite. There you go, chocolate calcite. You got some. This is expensive minerals, or celestite, blue celestite. Yeah, blue celestite. I have blue celestite. Uh, I got all kinds of spheres. I got all kinds of towers. I got pyrite. Uh, See, I'm trying to remember some of the names. I said I got a lot of. I need to write down a list of all the different materials that I have. So yes, I keep my room very heavily protected. People think I need to buy me a weapon, some ammunition, a rifle, or something to protect me from the dogman and the Bigfoot. That cannot protect you if they're demonic and they're in disembodied form. The bullets are going to go right through them. But what can protect you is what I just been speaking about. That will protect you and your home. That they will not be able to enter. That's the protection that you need. I don't know who this is here, but I think they're fixing to they're fixing to be gone. There's another troll gone. Uh, we got amber. There's different kinds of amber. Blue amber. There's some like red amber. Like different kinds of ambers. Uh, uh, I'm trying to remember. There's zebra calcite. You got there's all kinds of minerals coming from Mexico now. Uh, Bandit calcite. Just so many of them, that when you see something like that, who would have figured uh, somebody that's a veteran that served in the United States Army, the bin of combat, is going to be speaking about Jesus Christ and is going to be speaking about minerals that can assist you. Well, it's because Jesus Christ placed me in those situations to learn and get wisdom and knowledge to be able to share with y'all. The warrior is still here, but the warrior is maintained through a love foundation. Only if the warrior has to come out, this it's going to be a spiritual warrior. We're going to do everything with the love foundation. So, a lot of people that carry the weapons with them, they like to carry the extra protection. They might have Jesus Christ, but you still got to carry extra protection because when they attack, they want to drain your energy completely. So you have to protect your life source, your energy. Oh yeah, you know which stones that I like? I like the ones that have rainbows in them. Oh, they have rainbows in them, and I put them on my display. There's some spheres that I got that have a lot of rainbows in the sphere. That looks awesome, you know. There's some that say they have phantoms in them, like it looks pretty cool. You got cardon quartz. Uh, there's a quartz that it looks like a little planet. And I got some that, if you look at it, looks like a little planet within the sphere, or yeah, within the sphere, looks like a little world in it. You know, you can see like sand, like terrain and everything. All of God's creations looks like little worlds. I got Herkimer diamonds. Yeah, I got uh, some smoky quartz with rutile in them. Rutile is like golden hair. It looks like golden hair, but it's like made out of gold. There's some calcites that have black tourmaline needles in them. Uh, you got black kyanite, blue kyanite. Man, I could keep on naming them. It's there's a lot of them. You know, there's one called witch's warts. Well, it's got a different name, but they call it witch's warts, which looks like a wart. Uh, just so many minerals, man. It's amazing. Yes, the relations. Oh, so you collect minerals too. That's awesome. Yeah, I have uh some big pieces, man. Also, what is it? The other material called? It's got like squares in them. Uh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Some of them are like starts with a T. I can't remember the name of the material. There's apopholites that looks real shiny. Some of those apopholites have like gold in them that looks like pieces freckles of gold, or little pyrites in them, little rainbows in them, little needles. Uh, some of the minerals that come from overseas, like from Pakistan and from China. You know, China at one time was selling minerals real cheap, but then the COVID happened, and then after that, all the prices of the minerals went sky high. Before that happened, I got in some minerals from that same location that supposedly the COVID virus started from. That guy is still alive, and he told me, "Do not believe what the media is saying. They're lying to you." They said they do this to us all the time. They tell us there's an epidemic and they want us to take the shots, but they want to use us as guinea pigs. And he told me, don't believe what the news is saying, you know. And that guy is still alive, and he was there where the epidemic started, right? So they're just letting you know that what the media was spreading was not necessarily true. What was killing a lot of the people was the shots that were given, that was taking out the people. I feel sorry for the elderly that were given the shots by force, because they're in a facility and they have to follow the rules of the facility, that, you know, which they sign a piece of paperwork and they belong to the facilities that they're at. And I feel sorry for those individuals that was already sick and already weak, and they got weakened more by the forced shots of the coronavirus that were given to them. No, just a lot of things like that in the nature. See, somebody says, I used to believe stones had powers and collected a lot. Then someone asked me, why don't you put your assurance in the one who created them? And I stopped believing in them. Um, it's not really. The only thing I can tell you is this: that they felt me, but the ultimate help. is what you believe in Jesus Christ. So is it possible that when we pray for an item, right? Just like we pray for people, for if we pray for the minerals to be blessed, that we're able to use them in spiritual battle, whether it be a mineral, an item like a cross, because the faith is within you, right? So whatever device you're trying to use, you hear where the priests have the crosses, using the cross. But what matters is what's within the faith. But there, just like us human beings, we have energies. There's the limestone. Look it up. You don't believe me? Limestone absorbs energy. Limestones are in creeks by the lakes. So when limestone absorbs energy, what happens? Manifestations start happening where people are seeing ghosts, seeing apparitions, but it's because of the energy of the limestone that is being used by the unseen to manifest. So yes, they do collect some kind of energy. I think when they were making those little boxes, that they were saying that there was a demon in the box. People were getting tricked by the people selling those boxes for what, $49, $50, almost $100, because those boxes had a mineral in it, and the mineral that it had in it would source energy. It could be a piece of calcite in there, right, or a selenite that was storing energy. So when they hit it with a thing, it was going off. They'll open it up. So, a demon is loose. No, it was the energy that the mineral had that they were scanning that was going off. It's kind of like when I started wearing this. I seen something. I seen a image of the time of the pharaohs where there was certain of the Egyptians running around where they had necklaces around the neck, and then the necklaces were going up in the air, and they were getting choked out by the necklaces, right? So basically, the dream was about that the demons were saying that they could get to the people that was wearing the necklaces. But you see, the pharaohs, they didn't believe in Jesus Christ. The pharaohs were about witchcraft and necromancy. So the opening that they had was that they were believing in those, in the witchcraft and necromancy that were demonic, that would give the demons the spiritual opening to destroy uh, the pharaohs. So they were showing me of all these people that destroyed and all this stuff, but it's because they didn't have faith in Jesus Christ. So they were easy prey for them. Easy prey. I'm just being truthful. Sometimes when I try to help out people spiritually, through my spiritual senses, I hear the disembodied voices of what's around me. They'll say, "Do not help them. They belong to me. Leave them alone." So I just ignore them, and I still help out the individuals. I don't care. I'm gonna help somebody, even if they're being spiritually targeted, spiritually attacked, spiritually bonded. I try to help out people that are in the need of help, and I don't take those spiritual threats with disembodied voices to heart. I just, what, I'm higher than you. I ignore them and I help with the people spiritually. Yeah, I've been going on for a while now. I started a little bit late. I normally start like around 1:30, but I took me a nap because I had done a live show with Paranormal Roundtable. Uh, but I decided to do this one tonight. I hope you all have enjoyed yourself tonight. We've been going on strong for 2 hours and 24 minutes. Is there any other questions that anybody would like to ask me before I go? Or maybe you want me to speak about something else? Since we're talking about how the enemy infiltrates. Uh, How does the enemy infiltrate a family of a home? The only way it can infiltrate if the head of the household, which is the parents, are being bonded, which would mean they would have to have a spiritual opening, whether a spiritual opening that could be unfaithfulness, that could be anger, hatred, unforgiveness. That's how they infiltrate. And if they can cause chaos and havoc, which is what they like to do, there's going to be mental abuse. There might be physical abuse, in which they get a stronger grasp. Then, when they have the stronger grasp, they start causing activity around the home and inside the home, apparitions, noises, sounds, uh, bangings, scratchings, in which if there's children, the children are witnessing this and they start getting scared, in which fear is a spiritual opening. So they're going to get a little bit more of a stronghold, and other things can happen. It can get really, really bad real fast. But then, if you have the wisdom and knowledge to go into prayer, to take authority over whatever has infiltrated your foundation as a family, you say, "You're not welcome in my house. You're not welcome to affect me or my family members. Leave." Through spiritual law, they have to leave because you're taking authority over them. You are a child of God. So as you take authority, they leave. But if you don't know how to do that, they're just going to be living rent free in there till somebody makes a spiritual stance, or you hire somebody to come cleans your home. You can hire somebody to cleanse your home and then get rid of it, but then if you still have the spiritual opening. So what happens sometimes when people say, "Well, I prayed, I did this," but it couldn't keep, things keep on happening, is because that individual might have a spiritual opening that they need to ask God for forgiveness, repent, or get off whatever spiritual opening they have. They need to close that spiritual opening in order for the things that are coming, invading the home, won't be able to come anymore. They have to make a spiritual stance. And sometimes it's changing your path in life. You got somebody named Alistar. You can ask the question, Alice. So I have a question. If I ask anything about God, can you answer it? Go ahead. I'll try my best. Normally, when you ask God for answers, spiritual answers, if you have a relationship with Him and you're blessed with the spiritual gift of discernment, when you rest, He shows you things ahead of time. He shows you things ahead of time, and He normally gives you the answer that of what you seek. And sometimes you have to go through something in order to gain the wisdom and knowledge of the answer you're seeking for. Uh, when you see something traumatic like that, of course, we have to pray for the ones that had lost their lives. And then you have to pray to the Heavenly Father to help you, how should I say, try to get rid of the negativity of what you witnessed. Because sometimes when something like that dramatic happens, you know, that memory is always going to be with you. So the only thing you can do every time an image of what your witness comes to you, you say, "I tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name." You're not allowed to come into my mind, and it leaves away. But normally, it's not you doing that. It's the unseen forces that what you witness who wants to keep that image in you of death, because death or somebody being killed, like if somebody kills somebody, and you witness that, there could be a spiritual opening. Just like if somebody's being possessed or you free somebody that was being possessed, those demons are going to get mad and they're going to try to resurface up and come in numbers to come up against you. But you do the same thing you did to the person that was being possessed. You tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. You maintain your love foundation. The only thing I can say out of Star is what's written within the Bible. You know, when we hear about Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah is about abominations, where there was a lot of sins. You know, there was a lot of people doing a lot of things that wasn't supposed to be, from bestiality to, you know, you're talking about gay, all that was there. And all I know is that Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed. So if you ever read about that and know about that, that the only thing I can say to you is this: if you are that way, what does your spirit tell you? How do you feel? Is it telling you it's okay, or somewhere within you you're feeling some kind of guilt? Because I believe we're all spiritually connected. We're all spiritually connected to Jesus Christ. So your spirit should be able to give you the answer of what you seek, and it's an automatic thing. So if you're doing something like that in that nature, and you got some kind of guilt over it, you feel guilty, and you're like, why am I feeling guilt? The government says it's okay, but is the spirit telling you it's okay? I had a stripper. A stripper was at the pool, and she was there in the pool looking at me, and she was moving around, and she asked me if I seen what I like. Cause I told her that I believe in Jesus Christ, and then she asked me a question. She asked me, "Is it okay that I made I had sex with another female?" And I said, and instead of getting to the question, I asked her a question within the question. I asked her, "How did it make you feel?" And she said, "It felt good." And I said, "No. How did it make you feel in here?" And she told me, "It made me feel bad, like I had done something wrong." It's because spiritually, the Heavenly Father is letting you know within spirit that what you're doing is wrong, you know. So the only thing I told her is, if you feel that you did wrong, then if you're a believer of Jesus Christ, then you can ask God for forgiveness. You know, and that's the best advice I could give her. There you go. How you doing, Mike Hunt? Yes, I got. Look, what the government has done over the years, they're making wrongs to right, right? The anything that's really Bible that's evil, they're trying to make it right. That's what they're doing. Because we're in the midst of an unseen spiritual war, and sooner or later, when everything surfaces up, those who are spiritual ready, the maintain level of love foundation and place Jesus Christ first, they're going to be able to fight spiritually. But for those that are being spiritually bonded and they're being used in a negative way, most likely those are the first that they're going to get taken out in the spiritual war by the enemy itself, because they have control of them. I'm just saying it straight up. When man and man get married, and woman and man got married, that's making fun of Jesus Christ, right? And the government knew what it was doing, right? They knew what it was. That's why they've been trying to take Jesus Christ out of the schools, you know, the prayers out of schools and out of the military. But for somebody who has true faith and understand the understanding of Jesus Christ, that's one thing they cannot take away from me, is my faith of Jesus Christ. They can make up all kinds of laws to make somebody, a guy dressed as a girl, to think that they call themselves a female, which we know they're not a female, because there's only two genders. Well, you got the male and the female. Uh, if you really think about it, when you see this guys dressed as female, calling them that they want them to be called ma'ams, and they change their name, but you see them dressed in a female dress and with a wig, don't you think that looks demonized to you? That person looks demonized because that's exactly what it is. You know, they're being spiritually attacked, bonded. No difference than when you see a female pretending to be a guy. You know? walking around telling you they're going to kick your arse and trying to act like a guy, is because they're being spiritually bonded. And somewhere along their lives, whoever the parents were told them that it's okay to be that way. Maybe they didn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Maybe the parents didn't know who Jesus Christ was. But since they were their children, instead of guiding them the wrong way, they lied to them and they went astray. But I'm not to judge anybody. That's upon Jesus Christ. That's upon Jesus Christ. If I'm not going to make up excuses for anybody, I'm just going to speak in truth. And in truth, we know what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah to the abominations. They got destroyed. So for anybody that's going against Jesus Christ, if you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, if you look at the pharaohs, if you look at the Nephilim, when the flood got created, the fate of those that have come up against Jesus Christ is not good. That's all I can say. But I'd rather speak in truth than spiritual truth, than lie to you of. No, you got actors, right? That pretend in the movies that people pretend to be something, right? But I'd rather tell somebody the truth. Like I know people. I got nothing against mankind because everybody's human, and everybody's got a soul. I try to awaken all my brothers and sisters, no matter in what path they're traveling, whether whatever their path they're on. Like we're talking about lesbians or gays, right? Or what they call it, the LGBT community, and they'll place a rainbow as their sign. What if the people that are guiding that nature, they're misleading them because they already know what their fate is going to be. So they don't want somebody to come speaking through Jesus Christ to let them know the truth. So imagine if the LGBT community were like millions and millions of people and their fate is already sealed. But if they were to awaken spiritually and free themselves from that bondage, maybe their souls can be saved. That's what it is about to me, is to awaken people spiritually so they can see the truth. On you gays, I don't have nothing against nobody. I had two female friends that lived together for 13 years. And I used to work at a Walmart distribution center. I would say hi to them. I knew which one was a male. I know which one was a female because the one that pretended to male was more dominant. So she would get mad when you would say good morning to the other. And then I spoke to her one time and said, look, if you think I'm trying to pick up after her, no. I'm a single father. I got my son. I just say hi. I'm a friendly. That's about it. A couple of years passed by, and I met the one that was a man. She was crying, and I asked her what's going on. I run into her at H-E-B. That's a grocery store here in Texas, and she said that her friend had started having problems, like her girlfriend started having a breakdown, right? So she had gotten hurt at work, and they sent her to therapy for where she had hurt her wrist. But when she was there at the program that she was going through, that they found out the problem that she was having is she was confused. She was confused of her gender, in which basically she was questioning that by her being with the one pretending to be a guy, was it right or was it wrong? And that within her, she felt that it was wrong. And they had been together for 13 years. And what the hospital did is separated them. The parents had gotten rights over her because she was going through that emotional state. And they didn't allow the one that was with her for 13 years. That's before there was marriage and all that. to be near her. But somewhere within her, her spirit told her it was wrong what she was doing. They gave her a guilty conscience that she was doing something that wasn't right. So sometimes, that's what I'll talk about when somebody's being bonded and they finally awaken from the bondage. You got people that are in that situation. You got people that are on drugs. You got people that are alcoholics. You got people that are living in a relationship where is abusive or mental. That when they finally wake up, they wake up with that guilt because who's making them feel that way? Who controls the beginning and the end and controls the spirits? That's Jesus Christ. I'm just sharing that story, for the person that asked me the question about that. Yeah, they were both women, but one pretended to be the guy. They were together for 13 years till that day happened, and as far as I know, they went separate ways because I guess they were together since they were young, at a young age, for 13 years. I think when I met them, they were like either like in their late 20s or early 30s. So they went separate ways, and one remained heartbroken. Sometimes that's another thing. The thing that she was saying is that the one that pretended to be a girl was very jealous. She was very jealous of everyone. That she had a jealous personality, and something jealousy. When you're jealous about, when it's true love, right? It's where it gets complicated. True love, you love one another, right? But when the unclean spirits, how should I say, interrupt what true love is and try to make it their own way, it's very, how should I say, confusing for the people involved in that relationship that you could say shouldn't be happening. I've seen it where the demons make people pretend they're chickens, or they make people pretend they're animals and they're acting like animals. Where say, okay, I'm a rooster, let me act like a rooster, and then people have to go into prayer to free them from the bondage. The people that are pretending to be roosters, or they're pretending to be dogs or some kind of animal because they're being possessed. Well, in that same way, that's why I see people in that nature. When you have all kinds of different things that are of sin, you got people that dressed up in those with whips and leather that pretending to be animals and all kinds of stuff. That's abominations. Those are the abominations that why Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed back in the day. It had to be a city filled with nothing but demons that were possessing these people, making them doing acts against God, in which there was no hope there. There was nobody that was good, but the whole city was being possessed in the nature for the Heavenly Father to do what he had to do. In which nobody was worth saving. Yeah, possession, man. When you're doing something out of the ordinary, that no, I mean, you're born a boy, you're born a girl, right? You're dressed up as a girl, you're dressed as a boy. You know yourself a boy. Then, but 10 years later, you decide you're not a boy, but you're born male, or you decide you're not a girl out of nowhere. It's because you're being misled. You're being demonically attacked. Because if you're born a female, or you were female or a male, When you were born, you were going to know. You don't have that kind of thought process. So most of these people, if you notice, the people that supposedly convert, that they say that's not their gender, or they say that. So I've seen one where people say they got married to a ghost. I've seen a female that said she got married to a ghost of a captain that she loves her husband. That she literally got married to a ghost. Demonic, right? What's gonna make you do something like that? Demons. Demons are gonna make you think, tell you, hey, it's okay to do what you're doing. Go for it. You want to be married to that dog? Go ahead. Demons are gonna tell you to do that. Oh, oh, I know who you are. You're Bruce Jenner. You came out of the box of Wheaties. You were an American athlete. You you were the Olympics numerous times. And all of a sudden, Bruce Jenner is like, I want to be called Caitlyn Jenner. I'm going to dress up as a female and pretend I'm Caitlyn Jenner and I'm a mom now. The only thing that can do that to you, I'm going to tell you again, demons. Demons. Now, if whoever says it's okay, then you might have a spiritual opening. I'm saying it's not okay. I remember Bruce Jenner. Since we're talking about that, Bruce Jenner is a prime example of that. Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner is prime example. I'm throwing it out to Bruce Jenner. He had two beautiful daughters. He was married, and all of a sudden, as you've seen the showgirl, you've seen his demeanor change. The question, they can feel lesser than a man. Something demonic. If there's a succubus and incubus involved, and you're doing things like what somebody talked about masturbation, right? Or you're doing things that you normally don't do to your body, that means that something is upon you making you do that, right? If you're never doing something in that nature and you're doing some other things to your body besides masturbation, who was the one that talked about that? Rick. If you're doing other side, we all know masturbation is something that everybody goes through in some way or another, whether you're a female or a boy. But if you're pretending you're a guy and you're pretending to be a female and doing things to your body that you're not supposed to, that's of sin, then you're somewhere in some kind of way being infiltrated by the enemy that's making you do that, that's going to give you a guilty conscience, it's going to leave a spiritual opening of sin, and they're going to have a grasp over you, bondage, the bondage over you, control over you. I'm more than sure that we could put it to a test spiritually. That if I could get somebody that thinks like Bruce Jenner, if I could get Bruce Jenner and pray for him, and I can pray for him to get the unclean spirits out of him, that whatever had him acting the way, once it gets cast out of him, that will become normal. Bruce Jenner will become normal. No different than the legion of the man possessed, when the legion knew who Jesus Christ was. They didn't want to go where they came from. When Jesus Christ cast them out, he sent them into the swine of pigs. I'm more than sure that even Bruce Jenner can be fixed, but they're all up there in the limelight with Hollywood. And we know the Hollywood is affiliated with the Illuminati, in which things out of the ordinary is okay, man. We can talk about P. Diddy right now, right? That's another fellow right there. Everything the people he's affected in negative way, he's going to have to pay for that. See, to them it's okay. And that's where there's money. They're stars, part of the Illuminati. They're affiliated. It's okay, right, to them in that manner, but are they doing things against God? Yes. Is Can they pay for the things that they're doing against God? Yes. Yes, I've done ghost hunting, or it's more like not yeah ghost hunting certain areas, and some of the areas that did it manifested. I wasn't even looking for ghosts. I was just going like how do you call it, nature trail walking. Uh, in Killeen, there's a when I was in the army, I was young soldier that sent us to do a land nav course, and we did the course, and then like a couple of years later, went to the same location, where it's got an old cemetery, right? And I was a sergeant then, and I was in charge of a cleanup detail to pick up all the trash in that area, and we were there all day, and was waiting for the supply sergeant to come pick us up in the Dusenhav. So he finally showed up there like around 5, and I tell all the soldiers to double time to the Dusenhav. So they're running, and when I'm walking, you know, to make sure there's no more trash or anything, they're already climbing on the Dusenhav. What I witnessed was spirits of people dressed in old garments of back in the day. There was female, there was an old man dressed in an old suit with a hat, and they were walking right beside me. There was like 10 of them walking along the wool lines looking at me. I looked at them. I did the sign of the cross. I got in the front of the Humvee on the passenger side, and I told the supply sergeant, "Let's go." Well, that area where that happened is where Maxdale Bridge is in Killeen, Texas, because we will go do the land nav course for the military there in that area. So yes, I've seen ghost hunt. I didn't have to go ghost hunting. They just appeared to me. When you have the spiritual gift of discernment, they'll show themselves to you through spiritual law. Spirits have to identify themselves to you. That's like when I go to a home to do a cleansing, they manifest and show themselves to me to let me know that they're there. So wherever they manifest, I'll go to the location of the part of the house they're at, and I'll do the cleansing. Now, of course, I place the heavenly crosses all through all the doors and windows, so whatever's there has to leave. I take authority over it, and I tell it to leave. The only way you can obtain the spiritual gift of discernment, yes, matter of fact, Mike Hunt, I have a video of when that happened. No, I have a video of the day that I found the green truck in the woods. That's the I gave that how should I say, I cut a short reel of it when I encountered the truck, and I gave it to the police so they could know where it's at in the woods, and I give it to them as evidence also that how I located the vehicle. I just follow my spirit, man. I follow my spirit, and the God's gonna guide. God will guide you in that nature. Yeah, I posted it on my group, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. He's posted here too. If you look at the titles of, I will have to look at the title. Maybe I might send you, but I found the truck. I reported it. They didn't come when I was waiting for them in the parking lot, so they called me and I gave them the coordinates with the location. The truck was found, and as they did a search, the truck belonged to a missing person that was missing for about 2.5 months, and they found the body too. They found a body out there. I believe I have a picture also of a tarp, and I believe that's where the body might have been, but I didn't get near it because there was other spiritual activity happening around me. I was hearing growlings. I was hearing disembodied voices. It was getting hot and heavy, and when that was happening, I was praying. I was tied bound and rebuking, and that's when I left the area. When it was getting hot and heavy, and it was during the day. So imagine you catch that kind of activity at night when you're out there at night and you're not able to see because you don't have like night vision and you're just out there. That's how I go when I go investigate without no night vision or anything like that, day or night. But they surface up. All right, Mike Hunt, appreciate it, man. If you join my Facebook, I can probably find it. If I find it through on here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, and I'll share it. You can see the whole video of how I enter and the feed breaks. And you you can even put on the headsets. Put on the headsets, man. I would recommend for any videos that I've done in the woods to put on the headset because you'll be able to hear the disembodied voices saying stuff to me. You know, at one time I was making little short reels where they're telling me leave, or they're saying they're demonic, that they're saying their names, that they're Lucifer and stuff like that. That they're cussing at me, making pig noises and stuff like that. You know, um, but you're able if you put on your air set, you're able to hear that in there. Sometimes you have to slow it down, slow the speed down. If you hear something, you're like, let me go back to that, and you rewind it, and you slow the speed. You're able to hear what they're saying. I don't. That's why I don't have to go to a location and say it's haunted. If there's any spirits anywhere, it doesn't matter. That's what I tell people for the critical community. So you believe it's a Bigfoot? You believe it's a? Take me to the location. I'll let you know what it is, because normally what they do is they surface up. When they surface up, and I look at them, I can sense if they're spiritual. If they're spiritual, demonic in nature, I tie bind and rebuke them. When I tie bind and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name, they vanish. So they leave like sulfur smell or pestilence smell. They're demonic in nature, you know. But I don't have to go to locations. It just happens randomly, you know. Uh, it's been with me all my life. I remember when I was in school, in elementary. I was in third grade, and me and some girls were talking out there, and there was a lady that I was seeing by the fence, and there was a woods. There's a fence around the school. It's an elementary, and there's a canal, which is a water source. So I'm seeing this woman dressed in white, going like this, calling me. It looks like she's crying. When you hear the legends of La Llorona or the Wailer. So I'm going towards where the lady is calling me, and then from a distance, I hear my coach yelling, and he yell me, "Get away from there! Get away from there!" From a distance. Then he calls me, and I go to the coach, where he's in his little office, and he says, "Don't ever go near that again." He had the spiritual gifts of discernment and could see what I was seeing. And he told me that was something evil. But he was calling me, as a kid, he was calling me to go towards the fence. I got real close one time to be able to see how she looked. But it wasn't a real person. It was like an apparition of a woman. We call her the Llorona. But he said it was something evil. Uh, but yes, it's happened. It doesn't matter where I go. The spirits show up. It could be a friend's house. It could be anywhere they just surface up, and I'm able, if I'm recording and doing a live, I can capture them, on camera, because they photobomb my life feeds. Like imagine I'm doing a live like this right now. I'm in the woods and I'm doing a live and I'm walking around and talking to whoever's viewing as I'm moving around within the woods and stuff. After I film my videos, I go debunk it, and I'm looking, and that's when I see what photobonds my lives. I go to the timelines where I hear something, where my senses get triggered, or my life feed gets interrupted because it's draining the energy power of my battery, and this how I'm able to capture a lot of things. But my senses has to do a big part of that, which My senses will warn me. My spiritual senses will warn me if there's something, because it'll trigger my senses, in which I stay spiritual alert. Automatically prayer a little bit because they're surfacing up and they come in numbers. You know, there was one time I was out there during the day that my senses got triggered. I heard snout sound right beside me. Snout, like it sounded like the snout like of a deer, right? So their snout sounds like they're communicating. It's kind of like it reminded me of Jurassic Park, you know, where those little what's it called them? The raptors were communicating with each other. Well, that's what I heard, something of that nature. And you can hear snout sound where they're making this noise, and then I heard it to the woods over here to the right, the trees to the front of me, the trees to the left of me. So they're communicating with one another, making snout sounds, you know. And then I say, you know what? I don't see a deer over there. I don't see no deer there. I'll be able to ID a deer. So whatever it is mimicking. Get it? They infiltrate. They're mimicking the sound of a snout of a deer. So that's why you got to be careful, because that's how they lure you in more. They can mimic, right? Mimic snouts. They can mimic a disembodied sound of a pig. They can mimic disembodied sound of a child, of a woman, of a man coughing. There was one time I was walking through there, and there was a man that said, "Help me." Right? Literally heard the voice of a man say, "Help me." Well, guess what? Like a month later from that day that I heard the man that said, "Help me," was when I found that truck. And he was a real spirit that was telling me, "Help me." You just didn't know that there was somebody there. It's like that side of the woods. I will walk it before, but then for some reason I started walking to the left side, which was the opposite direction. So I was making videos on the opposite direction, but something, when I heard the man say, "Help me," it's when I went in there, because somebody told me to take a weapon. I said, okay, I'm not going to take a weapon. I'm going to take a spiritual weapon, which was it had a selenite sword. As soon as I walked in, my hair stood up. I could see the hair follicle stand up in my hair, my arms, and my feet got cut off. So as I'm there and my feet came back on, I'm feeling a heavy presence of negative energy in front of me. But I said, no, I'm not going to show fear. I'm not going to go back. I came to do something, and puts his test to a theory with his selenite sword. So I went in there to where the dark energy was, went in there with prayer, and it kept on cutting off on me. Oof. I walk a little bit, boom, the feed would cut off. Oof. And I kept on praying, and I was hearing all these noises, languages that I didn't even know what they were being spoken. And, my feet will come back on, and that's how I located the truck. I had the selenite sword in my hand. But all through that video, they manifested all through the video. I guess what it was is they didn't want me to find that truck, which will lead to the discovery of the person that was missing for about 2.5. I have a picture of the guy that was missing, his name and everything, that I placed in my group, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I had made a video here where I talk about it. The Temple PD, Temple Police Department, never gave me credit for being the person that located a person that was missing for that long. I don't know if they had a reward. To me, it's not about the rewards. All I knew is they never said my name. They never gave my description, that I was the one that found them. But I had the video to show proof that I was the one that located them, because I have the video where I go up to the truck. He's got his license plate, and I'm just like I'm doing the live, but I get the camera facing forward. The windows are rolled down. There's a wallet. There's the keys in the ignition. And in the video, I yell, "Is anybody out here?" And I'm yelling, "Is anybody out here?" So I'm looking around, then I go away from the truck. I go further, deeper into the woods, and it's when I found another spot in there where there's like a canopy, and there's like a duffel bag on the ground, and there's a tarp. It looked like something was on the tarp. I didn't get too close to it, and I just it's when activity picked up real bad, and it's when I left the area. Where certain things were being said to me by this unseen forces that wanted me out of the area, in which I prayed, went into prayer, sat by the rebuke in Jesus' name, and they kept on coming at me as I was leaving the woods all throughout the video, in which I finally made it out of there. I said for nothing to follow me home, and I sat in the parking lot. I called the police department, told them that I found a vehicle out there, and I said, I'll wait for you out here. I waited for about 2 hours. It was hot that day. They never showed up. I got home, it was like 6, like around 7 o'clock, 7:30. They called me if I could give them the coordinates to where this vehicle was, which I did. Uh, and during that weekend, they went out there searching, and they found, of course, they found the truck first. But as they searched, they found the missing person that had been missing. But yes, brothers and sisters, I was just glad that they found them and they were able to. They placed them in holy ground. But to this day, I don't know what happened to the fella. I don't know what happened to him. Till this day, I don't know what happened to him. And they never said nothing. I guess because the body was out there so long that I don't know if they found if there was foul play or anything like that. Normally, a body decomposes, right? So I don't know. Till this day, I don't know what happened to him. But I'm glad that his body was found and that he was reunited with his family and it was placed on holy ground. So it wasn't that I did it. It was Jesus Christ that was guiding me to do it. I was just following orders. When Jesus Christ commands you to do something, of you had better be obedient. He was commanding to do something. Because if he can't use you to do the spiritual works anymore, then that easy, he can take you away from this world. Now, he's blessed me to be in this world in which I crossed over and I got blessed to come back. And I'm just obedient and I do his works. Like I said, I know there's people that come at me in a negative way, whether it's trolls or people that don't believe in Jesus Christ. They come in a negative way, but I'm just being obedient because I know that if I don't do the spiritual works or I try to awaken my brothers and sisters spiritually, that my time here on earth or my blessing of being here on earth can be taken away from me. So I'm obedient and I do the works that he wants me to do spiritually. I'm just an obedient person, a servant of the Heavenly Father, and I continue to do his works through him. He's the one that guides me. He's the one that guided me there that day. Because as soon as I walked into that path and the camera gave out, my live feed just broke. I was standing there and I could feel the presence of a lot of bad things. Then the connection came back. I had two options: walk back or go back in. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go in there through Jesus Christ with no fear. And I went in there. And that's how I was able to find that vehicle that led to the body. I didn't know that there was a person missing, you see. I just reported I thought it was a stolen vehicle, right? But I just didn't know that it was a vehicle that belonged to somebody that was missing. That's how the Heavenly Father places us in certain places, in certain situations. When you cross paths with somebody that might be going through something, like a homeless or somebody going through something, somebody with the car gave one side of the road and you stop to help them. The Heavenly Father places people in their path in that nature on purpose, just to see what you're going to do. If you're going to do the good deeds of what he expects out of us. All that is a test. There was one time that I was driving with my wife. We were tired, and we passed this guy that could barely walk on the highway. I dropped her home. I dropped her off at the house, and I said, I'm going to go back and give him some water. Dropped her off, got some waters, and went back on the highway. When I was traveling, because he was walking so slow, I figured he didn't gain that much ground, but there was nobody on the side of the highway. Like he had just disappeared. But he does those kind of things, you know. Angels can manifest to look like people that are hungry, homeless, and it's all a test just to see what you're going to do, you know. So basically, what I'm saying, if you run into a person that might be in the need or they look hungry, help them, because it could be your spiritual test of what you're going to do. Trust me, you do the good deeds, the Heavenly Father always blesses you in a bigger way. I'm just sharing my wisdom and knowledge. That's all, brothers and sisters. That's not the first time that I've helped up somebody in, let me see the year. I know it was in the early 2000s, like in 2002, 2003. Something happened to me where I'm in a house and I'm raising my son by myself. It's like 2002, 2003. I didn't even have TV, right? So I see a woman standing in my hallway, and she's got like black pants and a white shirt. She looks young, and I'm like, what is this woman doing in my hallway, you know? And she's trying to tell me something, and I don't understand what she's telling me, you know, but I see how she looks. So, you know, she fades away, and I said, man, it's just my imagination. I go to an appointment at the VA hospital. I'm at the VA hospital, and I'm seeing the news where they say they're looking for a missing person that's pregnant, right? And the news, they're saying, they showed the picture of the girl, and I said, whoa, that looks like the girl that was in my hallway, you know? So the girl that I'm speaking of is Lacey Peterson. So I said, it's just my imagination, you know, my imagination. That's when I'm growing spiritually, right? So I'm at my house on the computer, right? I'm at my house on the computer, and as in my house on the computer, I have there's a wall map that's right there by me. The freaking map hits me on the freaking head, you know, like somebody throws at me and hits me on the head, and I'm going like, what the hell? And when it's opened up, and I'm looking at this page where it's dealing with California. And as y'all, I don't know if you know who Lacey Peterson is, but she was from Modesto, California. So I said, it's just coincidental, right? So I said, the map just flew accidentally. You know, you try to make excuses when the spirit is trying to guide you to do something, right? So I started having these dreams. I seen a dream of a lake. In Spanish, it's called Melones. Of a lake called Melones, and I had I seen a picture of a campsite with a skull. And I said, and in the dream, I could see this lake, and I could see a certain section of the lake. I got to see a man looking up to the sky, smiling, and I could see an airplane pass over him. And there was some rocks, and there was something down there below the rocks. And then I could see the girl near this pier where the man had a little boat, and he threw her in the water. But before he threw her in the water, he hit her with a hammer, right? So I'm seeing these things, and she's treading water, and he's trying to kill her. But she's got a baby in her stomach. Her stomach is big. She's floating in the water. So that's where the dream stopped. And then I keep on having the dream where she's taking me back to the location. And she tells me, said, don't be afraid. And she said, "Don't be afraid. What I'm showing you." No, basically, she wanted me to help her. So at that time, I told my girlfriend what was going on, and she's like, "It's probably just your imagination." But my spirit was telling me to help her. So I'm trying to call a detective from over there to give them the information of what was shown to me, and they tell me we're not taking any psychic calls. I said, okay. So I said, what can I do? And then they had a group of people that were working for the family of the missing girl. So what they had a number, a website. So I sent all the information to that website what was given to me. The Melones Lake, the campsite. And that location, when I looked on the map that was thrown and hit my head, in that area, there was a lake called Melones Lake. There was a campsite with a skull, and there was they had a picture of an airplane where there was an airport nearby. So, by then I have, a couple of weeks that passed by, I got TV because I was interested in what was going on of this girl. And then next thing you know, they went looking for her, because they said they had gotten some information. So they went looking at this lake and this campsites and all this place. They found, I believe they found something, right? But they couldn't find the girl. So they did the search further, in which I had a dream. This what happened. Oh, spiritual. I was in a dream where I could see water around me, but it was in a lake, and there was a piece of land and like a cabin. I walked into the cabin, and there was that girl. She was crying, and she was telling me, "Leave. He's coming. He's coming. Leave. He's coming. He's gonna kill you." And then I said, I'm not afraid. Jesus Christ is with me." So he said, "Come on, get out, get out." And I bring her outside of the thing, and at that time she's got like a little baby in her hand, right? So I tell her, jump in the water and go to the land. So she jumps in the water first, and she's in the water. The baby, as I'm putting them in the water, something grabs me in the hand, which is like a skeleton, right? And I could feel a burn on my hand, and I said, "I rebuke in Jesus Christ's name," and he left my hand alone. But when the baby jumped in the water, since it's a spirit, it manifested to be like a young boy. And I told him, "Swim to shore. God is with you." Woke up from the dream. I called my sister at 3:30 in the morning. I told her the dream, and she's like, "Hey, it's just a dream. It's nothing." When I turned on the news, like at 6, 7 in the morning, they have found them on the shore of the ocean of the ocean. The both bodies have surfaced up on land, which was her body and the baby's body on land. And when they were found, I was so happy spiritually. I was crying, and I knew that spiritually, that God placed me there spiritually in spirit to assist her spiritually, and they were able to place her in holy ground. And what's weird about that is a year later, and I heard this from her mother, that a year later from the day that she was found was the day they indicted her husband for the crime. On the same day. The irony of that, right? On the same day that she was found the same, no, sorry, the same day that because she said that it was an angel, that an angel gave him this information, that on the same day that the information was given to him, that they went looking for her, was the same year that her husband got indicted for the crime, which was Lacey Peterson. And what it was, when I used the computer, it didn't have my name. It had the name that my. So I used a computer with her. It wasn't her real name. It was like a computer her name to send that information. And that's how I'll send it. That's one thing that when you make contact with spirits, she loved her dad, and one thing in the dreams, she had a closer relationship with her father, and she liked. I think her father was Spanish, or she liked eating Spanish food, and one of the foods that she liked to eat was what she showed me when she would tell me, "Don't be afraid," was chorizo and egg. That's what she liked to eat. What she showed me, chorizo and egg for breakfast. But I'm just sharing my story with y'all. Is somebody being rude? I'm gonna get that person out of here. Mufasa is out of here. It's true story, man. I don't have the computer anymore where I send the information. I had all I was worried about was is for their spirit, their bodies to be found, to be placed in holy ground. And that was, and he thought he was going to get away with it. He found out the hard way. He thought he was going to get away with it. Jesus Christ doesn't like dirty, right? Man, we're all connected spiritually, I'm telling you. And he thought he was going to get away. When he was smiling, looking at the plane passing over him, when he threw the tarp down the hill where he first tried to get rid of her, I'm more sure they found some evidence there. By that pier where she had thrown her in the water, I'm more than sure they found some evidence there. When somebody's trying to do something, they leave traces, right? But he thought he was going to get away. He painted his color of his hair trying to go into Mexico. I'm telling you, Jesus Christ doesn't like evil people or dirty people like that mess with his children. So, as far as I know, this guy is still in prison. I'm saying now I'm sharing something positive, how the Heavenly Father uses doing positive things. But I know it's late already, y'all, and I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in. Uh, I think I might need to go now, get a little bit of rest. I want to say God bless you, uh, and I hope you enjoyed the story that I spoke of right now. It's coming from the heart. You see, I have nothing that's just straight up, man. I have no reason to lie about anything. Everything that I experience, everything that I share is true experiences, which makes me who I am right now. I do care about humanity. I do care about people, and I do care about doing the good works. You know. Uh, but anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. God bless y'all. Uh, and like I always say, always maintain the love foundation, no matter what the situation is, physical or spiritual. If you maintain the love foundation, you place Jesus Christ first. You're able to overcome whatever's in front of you. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. God bless you. Love, light, and blessings to you and your families. Uh, and try to tell them I love you daily. Uh, they need to hear that. Everybody needs to be here that they're loved. Tell them I love y'all. Tell your children love you daily. That's what we need to hear more than anything else in this world right now. With so many bad things happening, we need to hear I love you more often, not just on Valentine's Day. It's got to be a daily thing. You're welcome, uh, Sister Ivy Ramirez, Brother Mike Hunt. Yeah, man, that's when I do the lives. I'm wide awake at nighttime, so I'll pop up late at late at night when I do my lives. But thank you for joining. Now you know Mike Hunt what is about. I talk about all topics. But like I said, thank y'all. God bless y'all, and you have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace out, everybody. Peace out, man. I love y'all.